Please be advised, during this episode of our actual play tabletop role-playing game, the topic of suicide comes up. We want to always approach this and many topics with sensitivity and awareness. If you or someone you know is struggling with depression or thoughts of self-harm, please know that there is help and there is hope. Please reach out if you're struggling to a professional. You are not alone, and you don't have to be alone. We love and appreciate you sharing your time with us. Thank you. Take care.
Side Quests Live said, "Let's do this."
Can you hear me? Team, come in. That's alright, that's supposed to be chopped.
Sarah Fabriel said, "Yes, meow."
Meow. Meow. Let's get everybody else on the stream here. Huh. And myself too. We're gonna go, and it may or may not work. Hi, Internet. My name is Todd. Hey, Yalpin. Hey, Sarah
Kurzilla Kapau Kurzilla Yopin Dog.
That's a lot. All right, so good evening. We're gonna piece together a Shadowrun tonight.
Sarah Fabriel said, "X."
Yes, thanks again
Sarah
for
Fabriel
jumping in.
Said, "XD."
And don't forget, we do take live viewer suggestions. So if you want me to mess with the players, or if you want to help them out, or just have an idea of some random, I don't know, we've had spam land in the middle of a run. We've had all kinds of stuff. Spirits wander through. Shadowrun's great fun for that. Tonight we're going to be playing some Shadowrun and putting the pieces together as best we can as we do this. So my name is Todd, and I'm going to be playing the Dungeon Master and all the rest of it. And we also do Dungeons and Dragons, and I like to fly the spaceships. Got a couple new players today. Just a quick heads up about how Shadowrun's going to work for us. It's largely episodic. Some of our things might go for a 2 or 3 episode arc, maybe just a one-shot, but the players kind of get pulled through as availability is here, and the characters, well, come on. You're playing deniable assets in a corporate dystopian future. Let's just say, sometimes you gotta lay low. Alright, we're gonna go around the horn in just a second, but I want to make sure everything's copacetic. So, let's get people in the introduced and on the stream here. I'm looking forward to spending time with all you crazy p***ers. Alright, so here we go. Hi everybody. Can you hear me? I don't know if they... Oh, they can. They can hear me.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, so we are on the stream. We're going to be spending some time in dystopian future Shadowrun. But who particularly are you? Let's start, I guess, over here with Yaufen. Viewer, many time viewer, now player.
Hi, I'm playing Dino, which is a Fomori street chamois. Not to be confused with a samurai. Does the healing special spells, Shamurai.
Shamurai. You occasionally do punch things, but that's mostly just anger management.
Punch things, yeah, poor anger management. Yeah, I'm just essentially going for the healer of the group for the most part, and just see things on the astral plane whenever possible.
All right, cover a couple of those bases, and in the future, for those who don't know Shadowrun, there are all kinds of fantastical creatures. It's like our world, 80 years or so from in the future, 60 years or so in the future, except magic has come back. Cyberware is just off the hook, just very cyberpunk and fantasy. Take your Dungeons and Dragons, mix in a decent helping of Johnny Mnemonic, tiny bit of the Matrix, and just let simmer for 60 years and serve cold. All right, let's keep going around the horn. And Gemini, you're up next.
Yay! I'm playing a guy nicknamed Swaps. He is a slightly psychopathic swap-shooting bastard.
Nice.
Enough said about that.
Merc for hire, and a very hardcore individual. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Sharps. He was It's interesting as you play these, I get to see a little bit more of the people. So we found out last time you never leave a man behind. That was kind of news to me. So thanks for joining us, Jim. And I also have you a returned player.
No problem.
My words don't seem to want to work right now, so I'll let somebody else's words take over. Darcy, do the thing while I do this thing.
Great. Hey, I'm Darcy. You can find me at twitch.tv/DarcyBits. I don't have a streaming schedule, so maybe you'll get lucky and see me. I don't know. I also draw on my Instagram, void scratchings. It's impossible to find. Go to my Twitch. It's easier. Yeah, so in this game I am playing Mix. They are a ex-Johnson who is now sort of associated with this mysterious faction that I keep forgetting the name of, and working as a sort of the face of a runner face. That's a weird way of saying that. And sometimes as a fixer, depending on what needs doing.
Absolutely, so a face, a social adept fixer type. So
yeah,
thank you
social adept. Notable features: missing an arm, not replaced with cyberware.
Absolutely, because hey, if you're magic, you consider that very carefully before adding that in. Although technically the loss might actually be the... Anyway, we'll see. So thank you very much for joining us. You know what I'd love, and I know you got a lot on your plate, but I would absolutely love some art for this. I know you did our art for Sharps, so that was super cool. But by all means...
Did that in 10 minutes, just right before the stream. Yeah.
Well, if you want to doodle any of these characters, they may only last for one day before they explode in a hail of gunfire, but you never know.
Yeah,
gunfire that explodes.
Yeah, that's all scripted. That is a spoiler, you're right.
Yeah,
Sarah Fabriel said, ...
Absolutely. All right, coming around the horn, although I always seem to catch you as soon as you've taken a sip or a bite of something. Bella, welcome back to the channel. It's great to have you. And why don't you tell us about yourself or your character, or both?
Okay. I'm Bella, and I am playing Bliss, and she is a technomancer, not to be confused with a tech romancer.
I was gonna say it.
I know. But yeah, she's a bit of a mystery at this point, but she's just kind of running with these guys for right now, and yeah, we'll see what happens with her.
And that faction that Darcy alluded to, that's kind of a big deal for Bliss.
Well, actually, what was originally believed is not, in fact, the truth.
Oh, that's even better. I love that teaser. And that reminds me, I don't think we've officially established the name of this faction that has its hooks in all of you.
Oh, the faction that has all of us together?
Yeah, the one that's basically you either owe money to, or you owe favors to, or they've got you running for them for some reason. We don't know the name of that faction yet. Or even if we did, I'd like the internet to name it. Because we do that here. So internet, we need a name for a faction. It could be Bodie McBoatface for all I care. It's the faction that has you all working the shadows in one way or another. You can take other random jobs, of course, but they've got you together. So internet, we're looking at you. Please name our shadow faction for some juicy lore influence. All right,
yeah,
and
on loan right now because I've already got a faction, if you remember.
Oh, well, that's the one I'm talking about. I was thinking we'd do that one and name that one if we want.
The name of the one.
I found my
from our first when we set it up. So yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll figure it out. And coming around to first, actually, technically, this is the second time on stream, but I haven't actually aired that episode. But we've also got Steve. Hey, dude, welcome back. Yeah, we used to play like all the time, and so I'm happy to be doing the remote games because we can get you in all the way from the far forests of the far lands there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Todd and I go about this far back.
Oh yes. Oh, I can't.
Nice.
I can't actually show mine. It's on my leg.
Yeah.
Stand on your chair.
Yeah.
You know what? On break, I'll moon the audience, and we'll
think
get a
we
screen
first-
cap.
I think we first played Shadowrun in around 2000, at about 2000.
Yeah, and I you know, it's funny because of Facebook and everything. It sends messages to the guys who got me into Shadowrun way back in 2nd edition. I've been in touch with them, and I was like, I wonder if I could get them on stream sometime, make them part of this rotating group of runners. But we'll see. We'll see how it all pans out. So welcome to the stream, and you're going to be playing who tonight?
His Excellency the Sasquatch.
His Excellency the Sasquatch.
So, to briefly give you his background, he also exists in D&D, and he is actually the same person. He ended up in Seattle in the 2070s because on the world he lived in the D&D universe, he was transported off the planet through some crazy magical black hole thing and ended up in Seattle in Shadowrun.
There's
And
precedent for that.
There
There is.
actually, on this stream, there is precedent for that. I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
So in our last game, Kiyomar, played by Gordon, was the exact same thing. He was a D&D character who ended up bloop into this world. So
Yeah.
there's portals. That's now canon.
Exactly. Yeah, it's canon. He is called the Sasquatch because on the planet he came from, which actually wasn't his home planet, he was the only Sasquatch. And so when he came to Seattle, he thought he was also the only Sasquatch. And took him a little while to believe that the other Sasquatch that he met, which was Her Majesty, the Sasquatch, actually, if you remember that.
I do. Yeah, we did that
He
at
didn't believe that
Fan
for a while,
Expo.
But now he's starting to come around. He believes it. He's still got pretty nasty gremlins. Not as bad as they used to be.
Yeah. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing more of that and the background for His Majesty. And we'll figure this out as we put the pieces together. We're gonna dive right in this time. Not a whole lot of preamble. And in just a moment, we will dive right in after these messages. Just a quick side note: we are in no way affiliated with Catalyst Games or any of these. I did want to throw up that we do an audio version of this. So if you're listening to this on podcast or any other Podbean. But if you're looking for our stuff or more of it, you can find it on any of the podcast type places, Apple, whatever tunes and the things and the music and the iHeart internet radio thing. And we also use a bunch of Creative Commons music, including tabletop audio, Sirenscape, and a couple of others. And Yaufin might pipe in with a few things, but I'm in no way affiliated with this guy to my left. To my right. I'm just kidding. No, but we're happy to give credit where credit is due. So we're gonna get started now. And
I shamelessly stole all my shit, so.
Absolutely. Well, we're all just retelling stories. Come on. All right. Speaking of stories, let's dive in. Welcome to the Shadows, chummers. You're either here because you're damn lucky, because you're damn unlucky, or because you're just crazy enough to run the Shadows. 2080, Magic's back, everything's fragged. Corporations run the place with little to no rules or oversight. Criminal overlords carve up little pieces of the world that was. And you, well, for whatever reason, you're trying to make a living, pay the rent, or just get revenge. The reason you're doing this doesn't really matter. Nobody really cares. But main idea is you got some kind of skill that someone's gonna pay you to do the dirty work. You might be running against a corporation, picking up a mom and pop job, or maybe just trying to eke out a little bit of revenge in this beautiful, messed up ecological disaster that is known as Shadowrun. My name is Todd. I'll be the Dungeon Master, and let's dive in. So, all of you, for one reason or another, have decided to take at least look for work, and you find yourselves sitting with. You get a call from a fixer, and you've agreed to meet. Now you're sitting outside of a stoop near a bar that you're all familiar with called Grant's, but you've been asked to meet in a back alley. After what seems like quite a while, whether you know each other or not, some of you do know each other, some of you may not. You can decide if you want to reveal yourselves or not. But after a time, a black kind of airport limousine style car pulls up to the. You're all kind of leaning against dumpsters and hanging out in this alley, and this car pulls down, turns off the lights, but keeps the engine running. The window rolls down, and the code word you've been listening for pops up on AR and is muttered in a voice that just carries over the din of sirens in the distance. The code word was banana. Yeah, it's going to be one of those runs. Sorry, folks.
And people don't talk about bananas that often, so that's a pretty good code word. Yeah.
After the Cavendish one, belly up.
What you gonna do?
Exactly. So, speaking of which, what are you all doing this evening? Besides, just prior to arriving on the run, what was His Majesty doing before you fumbled at your pan?
His Majesty was actually shopping for a replacement pan because, in a fit of rage this morning, he smashed it with a rum bottle because, yet again, his gremlins acted up and his pan wouldn't work. So at the moment, he's at the equivalent of Radio Shack.
Nice. And that's when your fixer tracked you down, a contact of yours, Gus Gunderson, finds you and says, I figured I'd see you here. I got some work for you. And that's how you ended up waiting in this alley with a bunch of ne'er-do-wells. All right, what about you, Bliss? How did you get to this situation?
Boredom. That is her motivation for everything.
Doom scroll. All right, swipe right on that. All right. I don't know. Is it? This shows you how out of touch I am. Is it right or left? I don't even know. I don't know things. All right. So you ended up here because of boredom. All right. How about yourself, there, Mix? What were you doing before as you got the job?
Fixer. I'm being sent over here. I do have a little question that I would love an answer to.
Absolutely.
Can I code my own sin? Is that possible? I picture Mix as the kind of person who's like, I have a sin for a few days and burn it, and I do that constantly, unless that's just impossible to actually do.
It would be very expensive, and it would probably be a lot easier to get a regular rotation going so that none of them actually build up too much of a data trail. So if you had and I think you have several sins, so that would be relatively easy. And then you could retire.
Creation, if you recall.
Well, let's hope you have either a forger or an info broker as a contact. Otherwise, you know what? You get some karma.
I mean, I'm associated with this faction that hires Shadowrunners, or has actually I'm on retainer with that faction. I think is basically how it works.
Absolutely.
So that's why I originally didn't buy one, because I wasn't sure if I had a deal going on with them or something.
It's definitely possible to fake one temporarily, individually hack a particular scanning device, but to actually do a whole sin is incredibly difficult. You would know if you want to spend the plot point. You only get 2 as a player. You can say that you have a forger contact, and spend some of that karma that you've got banked up. Last game you started with an extra 7, so you could have a level 4/3, 4 connection, 3 loyalty contact that is a forger, but it would still cost you new yen. It costs the bucks to get a good.
So there's
sim.
no way for a player character to actually make one.
Unfortunately,
There's
there's
not a skill
so
that they can learn.
it takes a lot of hacking and a lot of times you have to infiltrate a lot of databases and infiltrate that. So essentially, if there is a Shadowrunner that does that, it would be so involved. It would be 99% of their job, and 1% is just taking orders. So maybe next character, let's slaughter this one and see what comes. But you could definitely have a forger contact if you want to say you do.
Cool. Yeah, I'd be happy to build a contact. I have 2 right now, but I don't think either of them fit the bill. Speaking of karma, did I earn any last time or not? 'Cause I wasn't here.
You actually did. Everybody got 8 karma and
Cool.
And a couple of extras here and there for MVP and so on. So
Thank you.
yeah,
Awesome.
so you're
that on my sheet
probably
now.
sitting at 15 karma, juicy karma, ready to spend. So that's pretty healthy. All right, and Sharps, what were you doing when you found out about said job? Or is it
He was just
classified?
waiting for. He was just got bills to pay. It's to get rid of.
It's like your credit
And
card
he was
bill
probably
arrives.
in that dump in the car. Yeah, he was probably in that dumpster, hiding before the car drove up. Let me actually roll there.
Actually,
If he was or not.
just for fun, you no offense, but I'm reading that Sharps is pretty messed up. Am I right? Sharps has done some horrible deeds. And been through a lot.
He's been through a lot, but the only thing that he's really messed up is that he has poor self-control. He's very vindictive, so if he feels like he is cheated someone, then he tries to get even with them.
All right. So for whatever reason, you found yourself in a dumpster waiting to get revenge on a cabbie who had cut you off. So you were waiting just outside the taxi stand, and he pulls up, and you snipe not 1, but all 4 tires. All done. That cabbie's not going anywhere. You put 3 in the engine block just because he didn't look dismayed quite enough. Now that vehicle is sitting there hissing and smoking in the street, you're feeling a little better about yourself. And that's when your fixer called and said, "Hey, I've got some work for you. What's your fixer's name?" And if you don't have one, like a fixer name, then we can go to the internet. Internet? Name. Or you tell me first, Sharps. Do you have a name for your fixer?
No, I don't have a name for the fixer.
All right. Internet, we need a name for the fixer. Usually it's these 2 guys who make up all our names, so I'm trusting.
Yeah.
If the internet is a little bit hesitant, a little bit feeling shy, we can always go to somebody, one of the people at the table, of course. All right, while we wait for that to come in, you get the message, meet here, job. All right, and last but not least, Dino. What's Dino up to?
Well, Dino was in the cab that got shot, and was kind of pissed poor because he just got back from the medicine lodge where he learned a couple more spells. So he kind of just wandering the street a little bit, just skipping out on the cab fare because I didn't include flat tires for the fare. Not my fault.
Hey, where are you going? The cabbie yells at you as you walk away.
Actually, just cast camouflage and dive into a crowd.
Nice. It's probably around 9. Let's say 11 o'clock at night in Seattle. So it's mediumly busy. Nothing too insane, of course, but
Enough to dive into a crowd and duck down an alleyway.
yeah, exactly. There's definitely some cars going by, a couple of drones zipping around here and there. Yeah, there's constant advertisements. You're not quite down in the core of downtown because it's just way too corporate. But you're in a more developed. Let's call it Touristville, right? Touristville in Redmond. So not quite the Barrens.
Yeah, that would actually make sense.
But on the edge of the Barrens, close enough to attract
It's the Touristville for Redmond is essentially the safest place for all the other little whiz kids that want to go, quote, scrounging, or I'm going roughing,
So yeah, sometimes you get the more the money that comes into Touristville draws the kind of the more respectable aspects of the crime world to it, where they sell beetles and bodies and black market everything. Yeah, and then the corp kids who want to prove themselves come into town and try to act big, and like the number of modded cars with like badly changed mufflers and like I'm cool, and you're just like, dude, that's a 2-cylinder. Like, not even a 4-cylinder. It's a 2, like, it's only got 3 wheels. You're not drag racing in that, but and then every once in a while,
3 wheels, an electric engine. You're not going faster, Skippy.
Yeah, it's an electric engine with a sound mod. It's like a speaker on the outside that's like, and you're just like, oh, come on, man. And then every once in a while, you see a legit one go by, like a modded up, and it's funny because there's a point where it's like just total trash that's trying to pass a street. Then you've got like run of the mill coming through traffic, like the bored renting dads coming into town to try and pick up a hook or whatever, the family minivan or something. And then you've also got the cars that actually look the most subtle tend to be the corp cars, like they're on business corps. And then you've got the gangers who have literally strapped their car piece by piece together, and it is just terrifying. Some of these are just coated in God only knows what. It's like like Reaver from Firefly, that sort of thing. Yeah, you're just like, oh,
a little bit of Mad Max, a little bit of
Mad Max 2021, right? Yeah, absolutely. And the range of styles goes from super chrome, like people with mods all over the place, very cyberpunk, glowing fiber optic hair, the latest clothes or next to no clothes that can change just based on their mood, change colors and transparencies. You've got every decade is represented. You even swear to God you see some legit looking hipsters wandering through. It's getting to be at this point it's not busy, but people are kind of staking out their claim and just trying to find a place wherever the party seems to be at. Now, the rest, you went through all of this to get to this little cutaway alley and wait for this particular car and this particular banana. The window rolled down, you hear the code word, and you see this semi-shadowy face inside. You've actually mix. Go ahead and do you have either fence or?
I got a pawnbroker.
No, it's more like a knowledge skill.
Oh, let me check.
In a pinch, see, like gang level skills might do either gang or corporate or fences.
I got area
fixers.
knowledge, Seattle.
You can roll area knowledge. And what about you, Mix?
What are we looking for?
Some kind of like, do you know this person roll? So it'd be more like a social type test. Let's just go with etiquette if you have it.
I have etiquette. I've got knowledge fixers of the area.
Oh, okay. Roll that, and the threshold will be lower because you see a face. We'll see if you recognize it.
2 hits.
2 hits. All right. So threshold wasn't too high because of such a specific skill. So you do recognize this person as a fixer. You've never worked with them before, but you do recognize them. She's in her 30s, but she's probably had some work done. Definitely looks that delicate line to walk between. She would fit in a boardroom, but be the edgiest person there. And she could fit in on in a seedy bar, and she'd be the cleanest person there, but she would still manage to fit in. So you see, and you vaguely remember her name. What's her name? Anybody, internet or you guys? I mean, I can do one.
Yeah, let me...
What's her handle, I should say? Because I have her name. Zelfa?
No, Griselda.
Griselda.
That's a good one.
All right, Griselda is her handle. Now, because you've worked and you got 2, you vaguely remember that someone you once knew, who unfortunately is dead now, Mix, you remember saying he'd worked with Griselda, and he did mention at one point calling her Sarah. So you have a bit of an idea of her actual name. At least that's what he said. All right. Area knowledge roll. You got 1 hit, so you know this area very well. Except that doesn't necessarily help you pick out the exact name of this. You see that she blends in. You definitely, nothing stands out as like overly corp, except the car. The car is actually surprisingly corp. It's a nondescript black sedan type airport limo, but the plates are definitely the kind that are morphing. So it's been modded up a little bit, and it looks like it's running a kind of spoof jack to say a nondescript type of license plate from a UCAS citizen. And so doesn't look like a corp car, which, given your area knowledge, it screams corp car. So, you see the car roll up, the window roll down, and you see Griselda kind of identify herself as a light flicks on from inside. There's someone else in the car next to her, and there's a driver. And she leans out and says, "You're here for bananas?" By the way, the answer to that is BANANAS.
Yeah, I mean, I'll approach.
Sure. The car kind of keeps rolling a little bit and then stops. And then she calls out again. Bananas?
I smirk and I go, BANANAS.
She gives a little nod to the driver, and the car you hear it go thick, just an ever so slight click into park. You see her turn her head, and she gives a little nod, and then someone else in the other seat shifts around a little bit, and she turns back and says, "Looking for a fairly quick turnaround run. I trust none of you are unfamiliar with Redmond?" His Majesty kind of looks around like everything seems unfamiliar. You've been here for a while, but it's still like, all right, that's not a tree. That's a lamppost.
Right there. That's the problem.
Anybody particularly know Redmond?
I do. I'll raise my hand and say what you need to know.
All right. Gonna need to find somebody. This is let's call it a pickup job. I'm prepared to offer you 6 for a rush job. 6 apiece. We need a being brought back in good shape.
Are they wanting to be picked up?
I imagine so, but haven't had any contact lately. Let's just say they don't want to stay where they are, so... And that's, I'm afraid, all I'm going to say unless we have an agreement.
First of all, 6 what? And each?
6. I want 6. 6 what? Each. I love that. 1,000 new yen. This is not actually Is he with you?
Yeah, actually he is. I just kind of got him aside. Look, how tall is the Sasquatch anyway? How tall is your character?
Lots. 2.93 meters. Whatever that is.
Just shy of 3 meters.
It's like 9.5 feet tall.
Okay, so I'm 8 foot, so yeah. I'm still looking up at you. I was just curious.
just ever so slightly looking up at this hulking beast of a Sasquatch. The fur, the beard is really hard to... Now, in the shadows, of course, it's dark and can kind of blend in. You know, it's zooming out, but he's got the... I don't have that image.
Oh, there.
Yeah, it's straight out of Harry and the Hendersons. I don't even remember if you wear clothes.
No. Well, yes and no. But for now, no.
All right.
He has armor that he took to a costumer, essentially 2080s version of like Jamie Heineman. And so his full suit of armor is made with fake Sasquatch hair, so it looks like he's naked.
Here, take this Chewbacca costume, glue it on armored clothing for me.
Yeah.
Oh, and can you dye it to match my fur? Wow, that's yep. So you look naked, except for some reason the hair perfectly hides the wang. Basically, let's not mince words here.
No one's ever seen, Sasquatch balls. Like Chewbacca, he doesn't wear clothes.
Let's keep it that way, but that no one has to see that.
He was sometimes.
I'm pretty sure there's probably some fan art somewhere, but I don't want to Google
Rule 34,
that.
man. Rule 34.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
No, I am not throwing that on the stream. All right. So
and banned.
Yep, there it is. Yep, that's a lot.
Okay, my
Whoa.
own amusement.
All right then. I'm speechless. Let's move along. All right, so she says, all right. So if you're able to pick up a passenger that we need brought out of Redmond alive, and actually the other person leans forward. It's you catch a glimpse of a woman. Go ahead and do a perception check. Somebody who's nearby. Mix. Your threshold is lower, but anybody else who's kind of standing there can get a look. Now let's pick two of you, so maybe not all of you have to roll.
I can use real dice.
Sure. Roll. Everybody roll.
Holy
I'd be
crap.
further in the back, so.
What the? That's a lot of sixes.
Sixes are
3,
good
6,
in Shadowrun.
5, 5, 6, 6, 4, 5, 4.
Whew. If you had spent karma on that, they would have all exploded. All right.
Sarah Fabriel said, D.
Yes, that's a lot of sixes. Holy crow! I bet you wish you hadn't wasted it on this. That's the kind of roll where you're like, God, I gotta survive. All right, so
That's exactly what I want to have the best roll on.
And now, to be fair, your mental limit, because this is Shadowrun 5, we have limits. So your mental limit is 7, so you actually almost got there. All right, so definitely Mix catches the profile, the face, gets a good look, and actually, I imagine you wear glasses or contacts with like image link, and so you snap a picture of who it is, so you can refer back to that, and you get a really good look at this person. In fact, are you magical?
I mean, I'm an adept.
So, do you have astral perception or not?
I do, but like I have to like turn it on, right?
You do, but then again, I get a little hand wavy with some of these things.
Yeah, it's basically, sensing is basically kind of like perception, just for the magical side of things.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
but that many hits. I'm gonna say that you were looking astrally, just keeping an eye out, and then as she leans forward, you flip back and you get a look at both. So you get a bit of an aura, just kind of glows around her for a second and then fades back. You see a woman, she's also in her 30s, blonde, smooth blonde hair, very conservative cut, dressed in plain black kind of turtleneck and an overcoat, likely discreetly armored. A lot of stuff about this woman screams corp, but not like bloodthirsty cutthroat corp, which is the most kind of corp that you guys have interacted with. You see her and she's got this look of like clean cut socialite.
Right. I'm guessing none of my knowledge skills actually hit that.
Well, we'll see. You get this look, and she leans forward and she says, "Alive. He must be alive if you want to get paid the full thing."
Cool. Can
And-
I mean, sense motive is a thing in this game, right? Can I just do that, or do I need to I don't know?
It's judge intentions.
Do something.
Intentions.
Yeah,
Judge
go
intentions?
for it. Judge her
Yeah,
intentions.
she sounds I don't know, related or something.
It's calculated as int and charisma.
Int and charisma. Now, along with that perception check, you also pick up it looks like a corp logo that had been folded in, but you catch the edge of it. And so you might be able to identify that with an image search later if you happen to have a hacker friend. It isn't one of the Big Ten, but it's definitely a recognizable logo. On Judge Intentions, this woman is worried. She's trying to mask it, but she is definitely worried about this individual. It's not just a job to her. This is personal. More than that.
Are they an elf?
What's
She
your threshold for that perception test?
for that perception test. Well, I'm basically everybody saw her a little bit and see this blonde human. You do even with 2 successes, you pick that up. But for those of you with 4, you pick up a pretty good look at her. Can tell that she's corp and all of what I just said to Darcy. Even more so with Mix, who got the 6 hit. Because you gotta honor them there 6 hits. With that, you spot a wedding ring.
Okay.
And it looks like that hand is a little bit rubbed raw right around that wedding ring.
Okay.
Okay. And that's what you get.
Cool. Gotcha.
Okay.
I
So
think His Majesty would pick up on that as well, because I was rolling along with you there, a couple on each stat. So he's kind of oh, she's worried about someone, and it probably means.
yeah, you don't quite get the wedding ring. Mix does
No,
that, but you get the
yeah.
worry, and especially because you're
He
often
actually cares about
well,
this.
dual nature. You pick up. You actually can see enough of the aura to tell that there's a cool exterior. She's well trained at bluffing if she needs to. You get that impression, but she's letting it slip a little bit by accident. In fact, you get the impression she's probably better than this, but is slipping up. All right. So Griselda kind of motions the other woman back and says, "All right, so I will send you the information about this individual. And do you have a secure drop?" Bliss would be your secure drop.
Bliss, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So Griselda's holds up her fingers, and hovering above them on AR only is this little icon that no one actually knows the origins of this icon. It's just this weird little. It looks like 2 manila pieces of paper folded together on itself with little tabs on the top. Nobody even knows what that is anymore. They're just
What the fuck is it?
what is that? And it's just rotating above her head, and she flicks it towards Bliss, and you get the files. Inside, you can crawl through those in a moment, but Griselda says, "All right, and in there is also my contact. We'll meet, honestly, a safer location than this, something more subtle, perhaps of your choosing. I'm happy to meet you there in this vehicle, and as soon as you get this individual, you let me know."
When we find them,
The clock is ticking.
how do we get them to trust us?
The other woman leans forward and says, Tell them chrysanthemums were my favorite. Chrysanthemums are Beth's favorite. You'll know what that means.
Thank you. I'll do what I can. I'm married too.
She blushes ever so slightly, and then sits back, a little bit frosty. All right, the car revs up, and Griselda says, "You can reach me there on secure lines only." And the vehicle gets into reverse and soundlessly backs out and off down the street. A couple seconds later, a couple motorcycles go past the other way, making a hell of a racket. All right, you open up the files and share it out, and we're going to kind of flash forward a little bit here. You're looking for an elven male. You're looking for an elven male. Name is Jason Tanner. He's a corporate.
Elf. Okay.
He's an elf, and he is a corporate guy. He's 36 years old, Caucasian elf, last seen in Touristville. And
brave little bastard.
Yeah, elves have a harder time. Although, I mean, it is Touristville, so it's if you're gonna go somewhere down this way, you do it. And the little bit of background about him, you get. Well, actually, we'll do a hacking check there for me, Bliss, if you want to. I'm assuming you're gonna do a dive for him.
Well, what's like available in the file?
You get several pictures, including a basic description of his clothes. He was wearing a suit last time he came through. He was driving.
With their corporal allegiances?
It is. You don't get exactly like which of the Big Ten it's a subsidiary of, but he does work for a corporation that is called. It's a subsidiary of Evo, and it's called Mylar Industries. I'm not making that up at all.
I mean, I hope you are making it up. That's the game we're playing.
No, that's true. Everything's made up and the points don't matter. All right, I think that's probably copywritten.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, come at me, Drew Carey. You can have one of these. One of these boxes here is for you, you bastard. Oh, okay. I'm just kidding. All right, so
Look at Tyler now, man. Come on. You're dating yourself.
Oh, I don't know things, man. Do you think I have time to keep up? I'm playing a 30-something-year-old role-playing game with my one night a week. All right. So a subsidiary of Ares Mylar Industries, the third, and it's
Is it Ares or Evo?
Evo.
Oh, that's different.
Sorry, did I say Ares? I meant Evo. It is a subsidiary of Evo, but it's like a third tier. It was basically like they're a majority stockholder in that company, but they don't do the day-to-day by the look of things. A little bit more about them. You definitely get like photos of all, even a little bit of Tridio footage of him, so you can kind of see exactly what it would look like. Picture a not cool Johnny Mnemonic, like suit, short dark hair, elven, but he is essentially, he was in town to go and see an old friend of his who was trying to be a SimSense star and is ending up in a little a backwater kind of gritty play in town, usually on the east coast, but now just came out for the west coast and came to actually see this production, it was a you look it up and it was it was called My Own Plot was the name of the play. It was 2 stars at best, and that was probably written by one of the people in it. And it was in a place not too far down in Touristville, like one of those slightly more, like everything's gentrifying down here, but they converted an old meat packing plant into a kind of pop-up theater space. And so he came into town to see this person, and named Mike. Mike B. Like bee as in the insect.
Right.
And came into town, was last seen leaving at the end of the show. and that was last night. And corporation, I mean, let's just put it this way: their insurance doesn't cover you if you leave the corporate
Right.
Zone of influence, and this would be considered outside of that. All right, and that is pretty much that. In fact, that's only a couple of blocks over to that old meatpacking plant. Other than that, there's not a whole ton to go on if you want to start thinking about some legwork.
So I got 3 hits.
3 hits on the hack? All right, so you verify quite a bit of that information. It doesn't seem like you've had a stealth extraction sprung on you before, where somebody's like, yes, we want to rescue this person. And you did a little digging, and there was no evidence of them wanting out of their current corp gig. Either this guy is that. It could be a stealth extraction, it disguised as a rescue, or it could be the legit thing.
Okay.
What corp does he work for?
Mylar Industries.
Evo.
Mylar.
Yeah, it's like a 3rd tier subsidiary of Evo. Tied to Evo. Tech stuff, mostly. It doesn't seem, by his files that you've seen, Bliss, he's a good worker. He's not what they would call a wage slave directly. Depends on your definition of that term, but effectively works for the corp, is pretty comfortable, doesn't usually deviate, has no prior contacts in the shadow world that you've seen, and doesn't, at least publicly, doesn't have anything that would stand out as worthy of a grab.
Bliss, what can you get us on this Mike B and director of the play? Just any ties. We have 1 lead. Let's milk it for what we got.
All right. So do another quick search for me for those 2. The play, my own plot, and the synopsis
mostly
sounds
the director
awful.
or like someone involved that would be able to like have influence more so than actually like the play itself.
Absolutely. You turn it up super easy.
Plan.
They advertise this kind of thing. And this was one of the actors was Mike B, who is like on the East Coast, had a little bit of success. He's got like, the Matrix profile page, and he's doing the things, but he's, working actor type, who's, probably got like 3 day jobs in his LinkedIn. And then you see the director's name was Kara Turnbull. And
Kara?
again, Kara Turnbull. And she has several credits in the kind of indie theater scene, a couple of she kind of day jobs as a lighting tech for some SimSense operations, and so she seems again kind of working at that level.
You
can roll for more if you
see
want.
if they've been active in the past 24 hours.
Sure, that's
Or
going to
they're
take
also
a bit harder to dig up.
It sounds difficult, yeah.
But
I
go
got
for it.
after. I'm just gonna like ask them to do stuff and hope they can.
Now, do you want to do this yourself, Bliss, or are you going to get some sprites to help you out?
I think for this one, I'm just gonna do it myself.
All right.
This moment.
Can I give an assist since I am like directing?
Sure, you can roll leadership if you want to. So do you have a data jack, or no? You would need a TrodeNet. So if you don't have one, I do recommend you add one, and that's basically a series. It's like a hairnet sort of thing, or a series of.
Yeah, I think I didn't take a TrodeNet, assuming you're talking to me.
Yeah. You would running without one can be disorienting and slow. You spend enough time on the Matrix.
I'm asking someone else to do it for me.
Yeah,
That's why
but
I'm
for
not
you
doing
to
it.
successfully kind of shoulder surf with her, you're going to need to pick one up. So you could send one of the others to go grab that for you if you want, or you could go out and grab one yourself. If you want to do it by just directing and asking and like looking at a tiny little screen on like a TV.
Well, I figured
that
you
happens
would get
to
some
take.
information and come back to me, right? That's what I was.
Yeah. Oh,
thinking,
that's
so.
well. Unfortunately, then there is going to be a limit on your leadership role. The rating of whatever device you're using to communicate through while she's doing the Matrix. So if you've got your contacts, I think are rating 3, so that would be the limit of your. If you go Trodes, then there would probably not be a limit on your interactions with the Matrix.
I can go pull up my pan and see what the little rating on that is, if that's what you're asking.
Sure, that might be a bit quicker. A little
Let's see.
faster
My Chrome link
processor.
is rating 5.
Okay, there you go. So your limit will be 5. So go ahead and roll your leadership roll. Anybody else want to be doing some legwork while we're working this? You can think about contacts. You can start asking around.
Leadership direct. I got 5.
Well, since I don't really have any contacts, I might go to the place itself where he was last seen and have a look around.
I'm
Sure
gonna
thing.
go with Sharps on
I
this
want
one.
to do that.
All right, how do you
If
guys get
wanna
around?
take
Actually, you
some,
could walk there from here. It's about 4 blocks.
If you want to take some preemptive look, I assume we're all going to go there eventually. I'm just getting information beforehand, but
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
literally, you guys
Go
just
ahead,
walk and
keep in
talk.
touch.
Wireless, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you guys are kind of heading on to the actual building. What about you there, His Majesty?
I will attempt to phone my couple of contacts just to see if I can find out any more information about our target.
All right, roll your computer skills, sir. Normally you wouldn't, except your gremlins
Skill.
are all. Oh no, really? You have nothing tech,
Wait,
hardware,
I
nothing.
got-
Actually, you sent me that today. I should look that up. Do you have no tech skills whatsoever?
Yeah, I thought I added something.
You
after
probably
the last-
spent some karma to get at least 1 pip, because, dude, gremlins are gonna punish you.
Well, they used to be worse.
It's true. I recall. And unfortunately, it's a good thing gremlins can't be used offensively, because you would have just walked up and like tapped every hacker and just watched them have a seizure. But it doesn't work that way. You walk up and tap them, and their signal clears up. Unfortunately,
No, I don't think he actually. So I'm gonna have to default to.
logic, sir. Go ahead and roll your logic -1 dice, and
So
your
guess how many dice that is.
1 dice. Well, I guess gremlins won't affect you.
Unless I do that.
You literally just left the store, and you're like, I'm gonna do this, and you reach into what amounts to your clothes. Everyone else is like, what is he? Pulls out this phone that is just seen bad days, and you press down to like grandma tap a few of these things, and you're a Sasquatch. You've got climbing claws, and you just
So
tap.
that's what happened.
You tap the screen and it just goes. The whole front of the screen breaks and it just starts smoking, and yeah, your pan is boned. It is done.
Yeah. So I'll just like toss it and say,
Some
anybody
some
got
old
anybody
woman
got a
nearby
gun?
is like down on her luck. This pan lands by and she scoops it up, looks at it, and it starts. The alarm clock starts blaring, and she's like, throws it away. Gremlins by virtue of proximity. All right, so go ahead. Who had street knowledge skills of some kind?
I got I got area knowledge, Seattle.
All right, go ahead and
I think last time.
yeah. Anyone who's trained on that knows enough about the area to keep an eye out, even though it is Touristville, even though it is relatively safe. It's also gritty enough to be entertaining for those who are seeking a thrill. So I'm going to get you to go ahead and roll a perception check. Everyone else seems a bit distracted otherwise. Actually, Sharps can also roll and mix your kind of directing as you're walking along. So Sharps and Dino, go ahead and roll perception Everyone else is a
I
bit
got
busy.
a 1.
A
The
big one.
entertainment district, essentially.
It not even that fancy. It's like, I'm going to use Toronto as an example. What Queen West used to be, as it just began to gentrify, and I mean just like there are still daytime hookers walking around. In fact, it's a little bit red light district, except there's definite crime influence here, both organized and disorganized crime. Now, the organized crime does.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
His main contacts are a media guy and a club kid.
Oh,
and
yeah, they would both hang out down here sometimes. So,
what are the chances they're in a radius, like
Well, let's say, go ahead and roll your edge. We'll see how lucky you are, because you can't call them right now.
Either way, I got a 9. I got 9 hits.
9
I must have miscounted. I thought it was 10.
Holy.
Was it?
I don't know. Let's see.
Damn. So that's above your rating, so some of those won't count, but basically...
Oh, no, that's...
So, you were looking at the play, and you, after
you're right.
4 levels deep of usernames, and being like, okay, search for that username elsewhere, okay, that's a verified reviewer, okay, you search this person, that person, check all the producers, basically everybody in the program, you run their names and start doing a ton of data on them, and you data mine all of them, and it comes back that one of the producers and this Kara Turnbull both have a record with Knight Errant, and they were busted as part of a sting operation for a Yakuza kind of crime den, and they were both there and busted for, low-level drug offenses. But it keeps them out of the corp world, and I mean, it's nothing too surprising given that, but they seem to have Yakuza ties, and you do a little more digging into one of these like 3rd level deep connections off of the Kara Turnbull, and you discover, yeah, she is definitely connected in some way, in some minor way, to the Yakuza. And in fact, with 9 hits, you actually get the name of somebody she was a boyfriend of, whether she is still or not, who was a known Yakuza mobster.
Nice.
And what is his name? That one.
He goes by the name Ben K. Literally Ben K, but also it could also be,
Yeah. Okay.
In game terms, he would be like in Mafia terms, he'd be like he's not made man, but he's definitely known to be in the employ of the Yakuza in a variety of fashions. Nothing too high level.
He's just a soldier then.
Probably just a soldier, maybe angling to be a lieutenant someday, kind of thing. But definitely connected. And it was actually his name on the papers to lease this old plant. So that's where you found that. So it was definitely actively involved. All right. You guys kind of, at this point, you've walked your 4 blocks. Sorry, go ahead, Bliss.
Yeah, I'll let them know.
Yeah.
Good job.
You guys have actively walked your 4 blocks.
I would like to ask is just, was anyone else that is involved in in the scope of that test, like, not getting any hits as far as transactions, right? Like, if someone's in the city...
if anybody else has gone missing.
Right, has anyone gone missing, yeah. But, I mean, you probably didn't search the entire, guest list or anything. So, probably not, but if anyone that she did look into has gone missing.
It actually, interestingly enough, no, except you do turn up that Mike B has a return flight to the East Coast the next little while. Probably in the next, he's heading out in 2 days. And you get a location of where he's staying with 9 freaking hits. You're just like, okay. And he's staying just outside of Touristville, in a slightly nicer area of town, known as Renton.
Yakuza is a good lead, but this fella doesn't seem like they care about their friend too much. I'd like to pay them a visit if we can.
All right, you guys are standing now outside of this old turned around meat packing plant. It was once a meat packing plant, but it long since abandoned, and then it just got decked up. You see a kind of almost it's almost retro, like it was a spray painted sign on the side of the building, but then you can tell by the neon lights that they've strung up on it, it's not just by accident. They've actually kind of embraced that as an aesthetic. You also pick up kind of a bunch of flyers scattered here and there, an old fake velvet ropes leading into the side. Like, you definitely see it's around the side of the building where you would enter in, and the main entrance seems like it's closed up, and there's a couple of posters stuck up for a variety of productions. This place has been here doing this for a little while. It's not just this one time, but it's rented out as a venue for a variety of reasons. Last big one, actually, there's a thing advertising a rave tomorrow. Oh, I can do the incense. Oh, now with this song. There we go. Actually, you know what? Slay the dragon. There's a rave tonight.
Oh no.
Alright, so there's a rave going on. You see this scrawny human wearing like a, the undershirt type of thing, and like covered in tattoos, standing outside he's basically passing out flyers, and you see this massive, at a glance he looks like an orc, but he's actually a human, probably an orc poser, standing at the door kind of just eyeballing people, and this other skinny guy's out front being like, "Hey, you gonna come in? You gonna come in?" As you're standing there, do you guys walk there or did you drive there? It's about 4 blocks. You could do either.
I was going to ask her for wheels and I forgot. Oh well.
The last van we had kind of bit the dust.
Yeah, no, you had to burn
Even
that
if
thing.
it didn't, we had to burn it, yeah.
I do have a car. It's a sedan, though. It's a Ford America car.
The big guys probably couldn't get in that.
No, I've got the old.
I'll walk.
Yeah, we'll walk.
All right.
It's fine. We're going to think about some way for extraction eventually once we've tracked them down, but until then.
All right. You see this skinny human's like, "Hey, brother, you wanna party?" Kind of looks up at the big guy. "You are a party." And then looks at the other big guy. Never mind.
And I'm just walking between them.
Yeah, just. Are you gonna go in, or are you just gonna walk past, or you're just kind of post up next to this dude? The doors are open. The lights are flashing, so it's up to you what you want to do. You want to come in for the show?
Did you hear anything about this, Bliss? Any associations? I like sub-vocal that. I don't want this guy listening to us.
I tell them what I know. I don't think.
I think this is unaffiliated. It's rented by night. The show last night was the closing night.
Okay. Well, probably nothing for us here then.
And the guy's standing there for a few seconds like, "Come on in. It's only like 40 apiece. It's a good time."
Rich for my blood.
So, you know what? I'll cut you a deal. I'll cut you a deal just because you're handsome. He says to Dino, "For you, 30. Come on."
I'm down for that.
Hey, this one knows how to party. And at that point, the big guy by the door looks over and sees what's going on, comes walking, just shouts out and is like, "Hey, I told you to piss off." And the little human's like, "Never mind, I'm on a break. See ya." And he just leaves. He was probably just standing there.
Nice, good.
Just trying to scam you out of some money. He takes off with...
I'll just shrug and walk in there anyway.
All right, the The
wanna have
human
a look around.
looks up at you and is like, "You didn't pay that little twerp, did you?"
No, nope,
Good.
no.
10 new yen, you can come in.
Sure. Do you take hair?
It gives you a look.
I looked down at Bliss. You want to go in or what?
You got my pant. I broke it. He just starts walking in.
You're so big that the human considers stepping in the way, and it's just kind of like, I'm not paid enough for that.
I'm giving the human a look, going, "Don't do it."
And the human's just like,
Can't imagine anyone here is worth investigating at this point. The place was abandoned. There might be something left behind, but
all right,
look
His
it up and
Majesty, you have walked into a... You've been in the Feywild, and you understand what it's... In fact, this place oddly reminds you of that, especially the dual nature of it. It is so crazy loud in here that you go from feeling fine to instant throbbing headache to just numb in the matter of a few seconds. The only way to communicate is through radio transmissions, and there are it's inside. It's still relatively early, but there's already... The whole place could probably hold several hundred people without even feeling that full, and there's only about maybe 50 to 100 in the place right now, but they are all like, most of them are clustered together around these various tables waiting for the party to start for real. But it is so loud in here, and so many people just look totally like out of it and just walking around, just kind of nodding at each other and laughing with friends or solo.
So I'm gonna have a look around and just kind of do a perception test, a little bit of astral looking. I'm kind of trying to see if anybody seems whose emotions seem vastly different from everyone else's. Like, everyone else is here to party, so I'm looking for someone who's nervous.
Sure, go ahead and do a sensing check for me. That's a handful of dice sound if ever I heard one. I just realized I should have a strobe warning on this show. Sorry about that, folks. If you're
well,
sensitive.
they're extra large dice too, so that I don't know if you can.
And they're probably green, I'm guessing, because they just totally green screened out. All right, the rest of you are kind of standing at the door. It looks like the bouncer's not going to give you trouble because the two massive people seem like they really want to go in.
Actually, while the two massive people were going past him and he was distracted, can I go around the building to the back?
Absolutely. You pass a cluster of people having a smoke at the side.
Loud, I don't think I'd want to go in. I don't really like loud noises that much.
No, but I would look at you and tell you, can you go get him? Let's go. We gotta get this.
His Majesty.
I'll go get him. You stay here.
You see a sketchy looking dude near the bar who looks not deceptive, but like a little dicey and trying to hide something. You also happen to see this one woman comes up to you and is yelling, but you can't quite make out what she says, and it takes you a few seconds to realize that it's your contact. And she's like, "Hey, you're here! That's fantastic!" What's the name of your club girl contact?
Sarah O'Sara.
Sarah O'Sara is just like, she's leaning on you, she's introducing you to people within a few seconds, and a whole bunch of people come like blinking up to you, and they all look up vaguely out of it, and you can tell she's just whacked out on something, and she's already like twisting her hands in your belly fur and just totally cuddled into you, and like she's mollied up out of her mind almost, and she's just leaning and laughing and having a great time. So by the time Dino goes shrugging in there to just shuddering at the thrumming of the thing, do you have any hearing mods you could turn on, Dino, or you're just kind of at the mercy of it? Do you have dampeners?
I got like nothing. I can just walk in with like hand against the shoulder and one hand, up.
Yeah, that's so you're saving one ear. The other one's got that after explosion whistle.
Yeah, ringing.
Yeah, already, and you're just like, ooh, that's gonna hurt in the morning. But you go walk in, but it's easy to pick out the Sasquatch, and he's already surrounded by 8 people who are just laughing and leaning, and they're dragging him over to a booth in the corner.
Said,
Hexadecker, welcome to the stream.
Evening.
Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the Shadows. We're doing a Shadowrun. It's a pickup game. So,
yeah, I just kind of just push my way through it. Just wade through the people, get up to them, tap them on the shoulder a little bit, going, "Come on, we got to go, man."
the club girl looks up at
Through
you
the
and
comlink and everything.
absolutely. So the comlink, he's got a radio transceiver, separate
Finger
radio.
went through pan, so comlink.
You do have a radio transceiver that you haven't shattered yet, so that's an earbud
Okay.
transceiver that you could put in if you want to. It's not currently in though, and you see the big troll looking at you and pointing towards the door.
Just kind of going, "Come on, we gotta
Yeah.
go."
So I'll kind of be like, no. Just kind of look over at the guy, like,
You look back over
I
and
look
he's,
over at the guy.
actually, you look where he was there, His Majesty, and he's not there anymore. It's just a bar. There's a couple of bartenders serving drinks. There's like 30
you
people.
wanna,
Go ahead and do a
wanna-
perception check for me, or a sensing.
probably sensing, because hopefully
Oh,
I recognize
sense.
whatever signature he had.
This is not the kind of... There we go.
I
The
got
music
2.
shifts. Nice. Based on his description, you also got 2. All right, so unfortunately, you can't make him out anymore. He was a human wearing a dark, dark armored coat, and was just standing around looking at people a little suspiciously. But now he's totally gone. All right,
Just grab them.
you
Which I'll
guys.
say out loud.
All right, you guys head on out, and before you go, the club girl Sarah grabs you and like climbs up you to like hang off your shoulders, and then just makes out with you for like a few good seconds. You're just like, whether that's a surprise or not, I don't know, but definitely the Molly's hitting hard.
I'll just kind of like grab her by the scruff of whatever clothing she's wearing. Like,
Not much. Yeah, you put her down, and she's gonna watch her. She's like, and then you can exit, no problem. All right, so back outside of the club, it's around back. Sharps, you see there is you go around a couple of people having a smoke.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Sharps, you want the extra pair of eyes, or do you want to, keep the shadows yourself?
You can come along if you want. Extra pair of eyes.
Just don't want
means,
to, step on your stealth.
Yeah. If you're trying to be super stealthy, I'll let you decide whether you're going to roll etiquette to kind of blend in or stealth to just not be noticed.
Right, which is why I'm offering.
I
I'll
think
come
I'll
along
just-
or not, depending on if you're like, I'm trying to sneak, right?
Can I tap in to see what Sharps is seeing?
Yeah, you have some kind of vision mod, either in your ballistic mask or something. So yeah, you can do that if you get a ping in the corner of your vision, Sharps and AR saying, "Bliss would like to be able to live stream through your eyes, through your cameras."
Sure.
Yep. All right. So you can see that, and you also see through. His Majesty also has that ping going with his goggles, but unfortunately, being panless at the moment, you have to be a little bit closer.
Ooh,
Hit the
pushing it to the limit.
You, sir, are a ghost with 7 on the sneaking. Just you go through, and the people having a smoke out back do not even slow down. They are speaking. It's kind of like a street version of Japanese and English, a mishmash. Occasionally, slang words thrown in that you don't recognize. And they're having a smoke at the side. They look like, at a glance, you can basically buy the hits that, yeah, they're probably connected and they're carrying themselves in a way. Like, you're a mercenary. You can tell at a glance if somebody can handle themselves in a fight. It looks like these guys they're not just club kids. They are definitely people who seem to carry themselves, and you can actually spot that. Judging by the way they move underneath the coat over here, there's a holstered weapon. Somebody's probably got the telltale sign of a lump in the small of their back, of probably a submachine gun on a sling to pop out. The others don't seem to be obviously armed, but it's hard to tell with the small arms. But on the plus side, There's 5 of them, and they don't seem to notice you at all as you're making your way down this alley. You do.
Yeah, imagine I'm following at a bit of a distance. I'm not like sneaking. So
No.
that's a issue.
You can try to blend in though, with an etiquette roll.
Etiquette 6.
Nice. All right. So, as you 6. Okay, as you go walking
Roll
through,
and fire tonight. Yeah.
you do a quick mental calculation. What would blend in here? You're not going to be able to pass off as one of them, but you could pass off as a drunk or a club guy. If you don't want to pass off as potential prey, you're going to have
And
to
I sort of like I'm reading like what kinds of people. This is like low level street gang, or this is like.
This is probably connected to one of the triads or the Yakuza. You're getting a bit of a sense of organized, and they're having a smoke out back. Otherwise, there is a couple of bikes there, some Suzuki Mirage, and there's a sedan not too far away. But other than that, it just looks like they're kind of hanging out, keeping an eye on the place.
If I try and walk by, do they like stop me?
No, but their conversation hushes down. By the way, Sharps, you see past them, and you do see a van out back, and a couple of humans are loading it, and one of them's a woman, and the other one is a man, and you can actually see at a glance. I'm assuming Bliss has been sharing all the stuff she's been finding. At a glance, you're like, oh wait, that human woman, short blonde hair, Yep, that's her. That's Kara Turnbull, and the two of them are busy loading stuff into this van, boxes and wooden flats and that sort of thing.
Is there anything on the ground near the back door, like drugs, slap patches that knock people out?
Do a perception check for me.
And while they're doing that, I'm going to slip into astral vision because I know that lets us cover our bases. Because I don't think that Sharps does that, right?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't.
All right, go ahead and do an sensing check.
I did mess up earlier in my seat. It's my specific specialization for perception was not visual; it's searching.
Okay.
So,
good to know. Good to know. No, that's fine. By the way, because your sneaking was so solid and your perception was so solid, you overhear that conversation, and you hear Kara. She's calling out, maybe if we rewrote the second act and we had him end with the gunshot, and then she could be. And so they're basically talking about the show, and they're dissecting what didn't work with the show, and then it seemed like the human male is like, well, it seemed like it seemed receptive, and we made enough on box office to like maybe hold a couple more workshops. You know what? We should probably do virtual for the next little bit, and then maybe come back in the spring. So they're talking shop, and neither of them seem perturbed or aware of any. They're not, talking about having kidnapped somebody. They're just kind of talking about the show. At this point, they notice
someone. I just can't shut up about it.
Exactly. That dude would not shut up. How many layers of duct tape did you have to put on his mouth? I mean, for realsy. Unless anybody wants to splend a pop point, I can change my whole story.
I think that's funny. It's like, yeah, they still might have kidnapped someone. They're just not talking about it right now.
Exactly. At this point, Mix, they do spot you as you walk up, and they're like,
yeah.
Oh, hey, Rave's around front.
I'm gonna comlink to not to Sharps, because I already am with Sharps. Dino, and I'm gonna let him know that basically I'm gonna let him see what I'm seeing, because I believe last time he had the link as well.
I got image link on goggles. I actually picked that up
and I think Mix also has image link, so you can tie through it pretty well.
Yeah,
so you're bouncing
like
the little
relay.
picture in picture.
So
all right, you
I'll
do that.
tell him I'm gonna go to the back.
Sure. You start making your way around. Dino, you could go through and out back, probably. You do see a spot that might either be a kitchen or a work office, like a kind of a back area, or you could go back out around the front and around the side. It's up to you guys. His Majesty, you see nothing. Your goggles that you have are busy, like, they're ready to connect, and they're just waiting for you to click the button saying, yes, connect, as Bliss is like, for God's sakes, pick up.
They're probably beeping randomly as well. Too.
Oh yeah, but in this place,
connect.
you can't tell at all. You're inside this rave, and it's just like, boom.
I thought I got him out.
Oh yeah, you're on the way out when you get this info.
All right.
So you guys leave through the front door. It's probably the easiest, unless you want to go around.
hold on.
Yeah, we'll just go around. I'd motion to say, since we still can't hear a damn thing, be like, let's walk out through the front and we'll make our way around.
All right, so you guys start making your way around, and meanwhile, Sharps, is there anything else you want to do, or are you just keeping an eye?
Just keeping an eye out. So I didn't spot anything on the ground that may have attributed to like a kidnapping or anything.
It doesn't. I mean, not this particular kidnapping. You definitely see garbage and disposed needles and stuff, but it all looks pretty old and kicked to the side and worn, and there's nothing that screams that. The most obvious thing that connects it is the van happens to have a box of extra brochures inside of like pamphlets of the program. They obviously overprinted.
Okay.
Also, who does print?
Just keep...
It would be digital. But anyway, these guys did
Right.
print because of retro reasons.
Yeah, that's
great.
fine, yeah.
Hipsters.
From
Right,
where
so
I am I like? Are there
That's
like
canon
people
now,
at the
Dino.
front of the alley before we get to where Kara is? And
Yes.
also, how did we know that was Kara? We just recognize her.
Sharps got close enough, and based on Bliss's search, you see.
Got it. That's what I figured.
You've seen
Makes sense.
pictures of her as the director, and so that's how you recognized her.
Right. So I can't just like go up and talk to Kara. She's like behind a bunch of people. I'd have to find my way in.
Well, you've already made your way past the people, and they didn't stop you. You blended in enough. They're like, okay, it's probably just somebody walking through. But
Awesome.
that was at the side, and now around back, you've turned the corner. You can see them. They're loading the van. You see Kara Turnbull, and you actually, now that you get a better look at the human, it is that Ben K guy, and they're both loading stuff into the van. It looks like they're almost full, and you see she comes out again with another box, and calls out to him, like, "All right, I think this is 2 more, and then we're finished."
Can you swap into astral subtly, or is that just like a big like,
No.
the person's eyes started glowing or anything?
No, it's unless you're magically awakened, you can't tell when somebody goes astral, except perhaps their eyes kind of glaze over a little. It's usually pretty hard. It's pretty subtle.
Yeah.
Like a
Your
Oh,
astral
like
perception
rugged.
is kind of lean.
Yeah.
The Sasquatch is dual natured, so he's perceiving both astrally and non-astrally all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So right about now, Dino and His Majesty are at the side, and you see the 5 Yakuza kind of people hanging out, having a smoke it, and there is a side entrance near there. And they kind of look at you, and the size of you starts to get their hackles up right away. And they kind of shift, and their conversation drops off. And they're just watching you. And they're not moving, they're just staring. One of them has shifted his stance just ever so slightly. But they don't appear to be doing anything. One of them kind of, the lip curls a little bit at the sight of the troll. And the other one looks like, what the... And you just hear a little bit of that as it looks over at His Majesty. Bliss, are you waiting out front, or did you walk around with the big guys, or are you with Mix, or where are you?
I would have been with the guys. Yeah.
Okay,
I
so you're
would've-
trailing along a little behind the guys. Sorry, I cut you off there. We gotta
Yeah, I
figure out
went
this mic
by
thing.
myself.
Absolutely. So you're just tucked in behind, but they're eye catching, for different reasons. All right, so yeah, do you guys want to just keep on walking past these yaks, or are you gonna slow down? What do you want to do? You can go past them, or at least they haven't moved to intercept, but it's gonna be an awkward, like, they see you, you see them.
I don't feel like a Sasquatch would be the kind of person who gets out of other people's way.
Yeah, you're walking here.
Not when you're 9 feet tall. And it's a fairly wide alleyway. It's
Imagine the trolls not either.
yeah,
No.
they definitely, as you guys keep progressing forward, they take a bit of a step back, and they call out and be like, "Hey, chummer, let's keep walking, hey?" And one of them kind of puts his hand at his hip.
Wasn't asking for your permission.
And one of them says something. Do you know Japanese?
No,
All right.
Nope.
So
I
they
got English and Orzet.
nice.
I have a language skill that I haven't taken yet.
It's your call. It's up to you, Bliss.
Solid idea.
I don't know if I would have taken Japanese.
So
But
this is
If there's
something-
Yakuza like influence in the area, maybe you did.
when they say something in Japanese and His Majesty does not understand it, he just replies in total basic Sasquatch. Just drops the English for a moment.
He grunts back. And that makes all of them kind of tense a little, and you see the barrel of a pistol kind of just ever so subtly just underneath one of the jackets, as they've definitely drawn it and are ready to pull it up. But they're just staring at you as you walk by, and there's enough room. You got about 15 feet between you and them. But it's a bit of an awkward...
Since he's got in his effort to understand the world around him that he's come into better, he watches a lot of old movies. So in his best Clint Eastwood impression, yet still in Sasquatch, says, "Feel lucky, punk?" Which comes more like...
Ironically, that's
drawing up the gun.
exactly what they said in Japanese too. And Bliss, I'm guessing you took that, so
Sure, I can take it.
sure, you know Japanese. And he was like, "Should we take them? Do they feel lucky? Do they feel lucky, punk?" So they're basically an eyeball stare down. Let's do judge intentions rolls. Dino, His Majesty, and Bliss. Mix. You can see the last of the boxes is loaded into the van. And you see, you've seen the files that Bliss was working on. You recognize them both. It's Kara Turnbull and Ben K. And they're both. They put the last box in the back of the van. They close the door and they look up and they see you kind of watching them. And they
I
kind
want to
of
go talk to Kara.
sure. Whoa, that's a lot of dice.
God,
That's how many hits?
five.
Five hits on judge intentions.
I made a face.
You get the idea. This is their turf. They will defend it, but they're not going to be stupid about it. They're gonna if it isn't a threat that they have to deal with, they'll just try to save face. So if you let them save face, they won't throw down. If you call them on it, their sense of honor will demand that they defend themselves.
Nice.
Whether or not, actually, for 5 hits, the one who mouthed up was actually the most. You can smell the fear. Like, this one smells like fear. The other 3 seem calm and cool, and one of them is ice cold, like chill. And he's the one who's the most relaxed at the back, and then the guy who's the most afraid is the lippy one.
That's
one
the
on
leader,
left.
the quiet one in the back. The lippy one's the freaking prospect.
Mm-hmm. And the lippy one is the one who said something to you in Japanese, and you get the ever so. You wouldn't see it, but because of your sense of smell is very good, you could smell the fear. Just a little hint of like a tang of fear and urine a little bit. Just a little pee came out when he's eyeballing up at you.
Just a little pee.
Just a little bit of pee.
Hell, in Orzet, I'd be like, did he just call me a pen?
Do you speak Orzet? Anybody else? No.
No idea, but I think I'm like far away at this point.
Yeah. All right. So while that's going on, Mix strolls on up to Kara Turnbull, and she's just about to get in the van. And as you start approaching, she's like, Entrance is around front.
Cool. I have one question before I start role playing here.
Yeah.
Did we get the name of this guy we're looking for? Because I don't have it in my notes.
Yeah, it's Jason
Jason
Tanner.
Tanner.
Jason Tanner. Okay, thank
But
you.
he was there to see a friend of his named Mike B.
What was the name of the friend?
The friend is named Mike B, as in the insect B. Well, it's got an A at the end, but he changed it as a stage name.
Cool. Excuse me. Are you Miss Turnbull?
Yeah?
I was what's the term? Reference to you by Mike B. I was sure if you were looking for actors or stagehands.
Well, we're just closing up our. Are you a fan of the show? Did you see the show? What did you think?
Didn't see it actually. I was just.
She looks genuinely
I know
crestfallen.
Mike B, and they redirected me to you. Said maybe I could get something.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you're doing something again soon or.
Well, we are working on it. Yeah, we. You know what? I can. Here's our. And she pulls up a digital representation of a card, sends it to you, and she's like, we're closing up. We're working on. We got big things in the works. We're always looking for people to come and see our shows or help us out and that sort of thing.
Okay. Have you heard from Mike B since the other night?
Well, we had the cast party after. He came a little late, and yeah. Other than that, I think he was heading out of town again. He was great, by the way. You can tell him that I said that, and he did a good job, and I'd definitely like to work with him again.
Oh, I'm sure I'd love to hear that. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'd hoped to be picked up for a longer run, but it didn't pan out. All right. Well, we're gonna get this back to the storage unit. So if the other guy calls out and says that.
I'm blank on anything else to ask here. So if anyone else has an idea that might have popped into Mix's head, go for it. But I'll just let the conversation end otherwise. Yeah.
Does show a contact number from Mike B?
You kind of pause. You have radio comms. You're saying this live.
Didn't we get the address of them when we?
You do have a hotel, but you don't have a pan,
hotel.
a personal pan call.
Okay.
She would probably have that if you wanted to try to talk to her.
Probably would. Yeah, I'll come up with a better lie than Darcy can about why I don't have one, and I could ask for it. And it sounds very.
You don't have his Seattle number.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
all right.
So I'll inquire about that. Yeah, as the contact.
Go ahead and roll, not con, negotiation, because you're negotiating. It's in good faith. You're trying to find. Actually, your choice: negotiation or con.
Negotiation is better, but I'll take con. If you think that's more reasonable, it probably is.
Yeah, you're trying to get info and not be fully up above board with it.
Sure. 8.
Whoa, with a social limit of 9.
Understand. I don't understand.
Darcy, today. What is going on? You never roll this high.
No,
are you okay?
I don't ever.
Did you buy a lotto ticket? This is extremely out of character. Not for Mix, for Darcy. Mix apparently is a lucky. All right, so you turn on the charm, man, and she's just like. So are you an actor friend of Mike's, or because I could let you know of any upcoming auditions or anything like that. She has taken. She's just kind of
would be great.
You.
I mean, I got your card. Actually, I need to send them something. It's some bogus
Oh, you have. Kind of I think.
Right? Yeah.
I think in this moment you have headshots. I think you do.
Oh sure, yeah, totally, yeah.
It's got you as a doctor, and you as holding a clipboard. Yeah. All right, so you.
But I send them one of those here is an email that if it gets sent to will then through 7 proxies eventually find me or whatever. Right?
Absolutely. So she's like, "Oh, it's great to meet you." Sorry, what's your name again?
Jamie Allen, I think. Yeah.
Well, it's really nice to meet you, Jamie. I'm sorry we missed you at the show and the cast party, but if you ever want to come back, you just let us know. It seemed like Mike B had definitely helping us out with an audience. That's great.
Yeah, great guy. Okay. So do I get that information from them, or?
Oh yeah, she forwards. Yeah, with that con roll, she puts up no fight. She's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Here you go."
Great.
Yeah, she buys it hook, line, and sinker. All right, Ben K seems a little bit more like impatient, and at this point, we're gonna
Sharps. Since you're like there, is there anything you're doing while I'm like distracting them? I mean, you're stealthed anyway, so like it's not like you.
He's in the back of the van.
I mean, you could be.
No, sure.
I was kidding, but if you want to be in the back of the van, you could definitely get there.
He'd be in the back of the van snooping around going, I'm not really finding anything here yet.
Yep.
I haven't found anything. Buy more time. Buy more time.
There's no one duct taped back here. No one hogtied.
Okay.
You actually do get a really good look at what they're carting. And go ahead and roll one more stealth check for me.
Okay.
And this is where everything goes to shit.
Actually,
This is the first time
Can I give dice here because I'm like doing a thing that helps them?
You're keeping them well distracted, so the threshold will be decreased.
Great. That makes sense. That's the way of doing it. Can I actually do like a judge intentions also on the other guy? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
With a glitch.
Because I'm like, milking this conversation, and they're getting more and more like flustered by. Like,
Yeah, except Ben K. Ben K, you get you. I'm going to give this for free. You're so good at reading people. You can tell that she is super taken with you in your con job, and Ben K is super like, no, you can't. She's my girl. Like he's getting more and more jealous as you turn on the charm, and he is so distracted. And I'm not kidding at all. He is so distracted. He gets one hit and a legit glitch on 8 dice.
Yeah.
5 ones. Right out of the bat.
Right? There's not like this person's suspicious and we need to get rid of them as soon as possible because I'm doing.
No, it's more directed at you, being like, "Get the hell out of here!" And he's like taking in, like she puts her hand on your arm, the whole deal, she's just totally taken with your con, and the boyfriend, or at least one-time boyfriend, if not current boyfriend, seems pretty current because. You don't help an ex load garbage into the back of the van.
That's cool. So I can read that this is not a like one-sided relationship here.
No, although you get that she's probably wanting to trade up, and this guy is like unhappy with that idea. And
you mentioned before the other person having a wedding band. That's like still common practice.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, there's so much common law.
If I would wear one, because I wasn't lying when I said that I like.
It's common enough practice. I mean, you might take it off to pull off certain cons.
Probably
but if you
would,
to,
yeah. So
it's up to you.
Oh, well. Nah, I guess not.
It's your call. And
yeah, I'll not have one. I like.
I know.
Wedding ring.
Hey, if you want, you could have sprung for the upgraded wedding ring. They sell out all the time, and in fact, this is a perfect time for an ad. Okay, here's the ad. By the way, internet, you can come up with ads too. It's the chroma key wedding ring. Are you tired of those awkward situations? Going to a corporate meeting and you need to charm the boss? Well, if you can show your dedication when it matters and hide it when it doesn't with Ruthenium polymer band. You can, at a wireless signal, you can make the band disappear. And it goes all Predator and blends in with the finger, or come back. Great for in-laws and for those clandestine meetings. Buy the Ruthenium wedding band to show your love when it matters. Oh, I feel like I just sold part of my soul. But it just came up.
That's good.
I don't know if you have one of those, but that was the ad.
Probably don't. I probably just take it off. Like my wife is a decker. Like she gets it. She knows what I do.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. So anyway, by the way, internet, at any point, feel free to just throw some ads if they're not real products, or even if they are. We'll do an ad for Mepsi. Anyway, this probably... Let's just resolve what's going on out there. His Majesty, Dino, and Bliss. Your eyeballs to
I'm making
nipples.
sure Bliss, by the way, is behind us to
Yeah.
where, if they want a piece of us, they can't get to her.
That's totally... You kind of just nudge her back a few feet.
I was actually under the impression I was a little bit behind so that I wouldn't necessarily...
You don't stand out. Yeah, you might even be like 10 or 20 feet back. So you, Dino, you take a little glance and you see that she's well situated. She's been at this long enough to know to stand behind the walls of meat, and the grunting from His Majesty seems to have set these Yakuza guys on edge. Go ahead and what do you want to do?
I'm going to try to still stay calm. As best as possible, these guys are able to pop off at a moment's notice. At least the mouthy one is. So at best guess, it's like we're probably going to have to deal with the mouthy one, and they're going to let him charge forward. And if he gets dropped fast enough, the others are probably going to jump in. The last one, he's just going to be the one calling the shot. So if we beat the snot out of a couple of them, they'll back off. The other one's going to call him back after a little bit. But if we can at least try to keep things calm, we should be okay.
All right.
I'm trying not to mess up with Mix's mojo that he's got going on here, because I'm trying to keep an eye on almost everything.
Yeah, and they're separated by a good 100 feet or so around to the actual turn to the back. It was at one point a bit of a warehouse, so you got a good 100 feet before the back and that van parked way back there. And they're not even in direct line of sight. This is at the side, and they are around the back.
Okay.
So they don't see. It doesn't seem like anything's going to get in the way. His Majesty, you smell fear, and these little piss ants, they can't harm you. There's nothing that this little guy can do to you. You've spoken with the Fae, the Green Man himself. You have been face to face with this thing that makes you look tiny. Makes you look like a halfling, and as it was in the forest and looked down at you and smiled at you and gurgled in the primordial language, asking you, "Are you cool?" This guy is a piss ant.
Yeah. I feel like His Majesty is sitting there trying to decide. He's trying to decide whether he's bored or not. And what the best way to, if he is bored, how bored am I? And would this be enough entertainment, or should I just get on with the mission? And he's kind of sitting on the fence about that right now.
I do make a mention. It's like, I don't think this is worth it.
So you mutter that to His Majesty.
Yeah, I muttered under my breath, so to speak, just within his earshot.
It's your call, man. Your call, His Majesty.
I don't know. So the one who's the most scared, I'll kind of lean into him a little bit, and just towards him a little bit and say, "Could I borrow your phone?" Like, sincerely.
No, piss off, Ome.
Okay, well then, can I just have it?
You can take it, bro. And he's unsubtle about bringing the pistol out and tapping it against his leg. The other guys kind of look at him and look at the size of the two of you.
What kind of pistol does he have?
It's a light pistol, but one of the bigger ones. Yeah, it's very concealable.
I pull my jacket off to the side and slightly brandish the Ares 5, going, "I got one too, man."
At the sight of the firearm, the rest of them start not being subtle anymore, and you can now see. One of them's got a submachine gun. Everyone else has a pistol of some kind, and the kind of calmest one doesn't move. He just keeps his arms crossed and looks at you all. I think you two are lost.
Oh, well, we had too many at once.
Can I sneak up to the calm guy?
You probably could get. Well, you could definitely get within line of sight of them. from where you are, except, yeah, you actually, yeah, you can do that. You see what's going on routed through Bliss, so you can tell that something's going on. So you can begin to sneak around the corner. Whether you'll get there in time to actually get real close, you could get pretty close if you hustle. I'm going to say, if you subtract 4 dice from your stealth roll, you can move at full speed and probably close by the end of the turn if we were in turn order. So go ahead and make a -4 to dice pool to jump out of the back of the van, because that's not good.
What was that, Bella?
I said Sharps doesn't have to be close.
That's true.
Stage your close.
That's true.
It's your call.
Well, I was thinking
Just
of
starts running towards
intimidating
him.
the Yakuza guy.
Wait, I'm a sniper. Let me go back to my van.
Do you want to leave the van? Yeah, you hop out of the van and you get to the corner of the building and glance around. You see this going down, and you could close ranks or you could keep a distance there, Sharp. It's up to you.
Well, there's the thing, the sniper rifle that has very long edge, so I'm not sure if I'm carrying it around on person. So
Probably it's a folding one, I'm guessing, and it's probably put away. It's in the back of your vehicle. It's hard to be subtle with it.
okay.
But you are definitely armed
Yeah,
with
this-
anything else you want. Just for fun, let's have him ninja out of nowhere if you can get the sneaking check. So -4 dice from your dice pool, and go ahead. You're going to be hustling to do it, though.
Okay.
Meanwhile, His Majesty, you lean into. You're standing over this guy, and he's. And they say, "We own this. You need to leave now," says one of the more calm ones.
You own which part?
And the mouthy one's like, "We own all this, man. This is ours."
Even the trash can?
One of them actually laughs and like hits the other one at that joke, and then the mouthy one takes it as an insult. He's like, "Yeah, that's my trash can, man. That's my damn trash can. I'm trying to decide if those are my boots." And he points at your shoes.
May I do a on him, the mouthy one?
Yeah, go for it.
How many guys are there all together here? I lost count.
There are 5, and 5 of these guys at the side of the building, and then there's the van at the back with Kara and her boyfriend.
And they're typically Japanese-sized people?
Yeah, I mean they're humans. They're not super tall. They're not super small. They're just kind of average humans.
Yeah. These are not good odds. Like, for them.
I mean, you're right.
They
Weasel should start shit. I know I've been eating a little bit of time, but can I ask a couple questions here?
Yeah.
So we have every reason to believe that these are Yakuza. That's been basically confirmed, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And I have been struggling with how to approach such a situation tactfully, but Mix should probably know how to. I do have, knowledges for this sorts of thing. How would I go about, I don't know, I don't want to play my hand necessarily if they're, directly involved and they try and kill us, right? But if someone's, starting, doing something on their turf, it would be nice if they were, an ally, right? Hey, someone's, threatening this area, people are going missing, we need to track someone down, we would like to work with you without actually, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to approach that in a way that would make sense for Mix. I'm not sure I explained that perfectly well.
Do you want to try to win them over?
The cool one. You would probably approach the cool one.
I'm in the
and make
back.
an
I
offer.
haven't even come out here, right? I'm talking to, Bell Pepper, whatever his name was. Ben K.
You could try negotiations to try and find mechanically trying to find a way to convince them that you mean them no harm, but you're trying to accomplish your goal.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to figure literally in fiction what I would be doing to be there's a person that I know that has gone missing in your territory.
Yep. Wait, and kind of make it worth their while in favors kind of thing.
I guess,
Cash.
yeah. Or not even I mean, so if they're not involved, it's like, hey, someone's that's not you who did something on your turf. Let's work together. If they are involved, I want to not put too much heat on myself. I don't know how to thread that needle, right?
Well, let's roll negotiations and find out.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So I like maybe like I turn to leave, and I'm like, oh wait, actually there was.
His Majesty, go ahead and
Nothing
roll
working out.
intimidation.
Well, actually, I was going to try and negotiate. Well, here's what I was going to do.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, well, what's intimidation?
I got 2, by the way. Not very good.
I'll just roll his negotiation, because here's what he was going to do. I'll just
Sure.
roll it, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, couple of hits. So he looks at the guy that's peeing himself, and the guy that's totally calm, and then kind of leans a little bit towards the guy peeing himself, but looks over the guy that's calm and goes, just kidding, and kind of smacks the back of the nervous guy a little harder than is friendly, but with a bit of a smile on his face, and we'll say,
Their knees buckled.
Oh yeah. Well, let's roll your negotiations. It's backslap negotiations.
2 hits.
2 hits. All right, Dino, are you? What are you doing through all this?
I'm waiting to see if they're going to pop off. I really am. I'm just I'm waiting.
Just keeping it cool. And I
Yeah.
see. I believe that was Gemini. Sharp's got 4 hits, even with the reduced dice pool. So yeah, you are, as always, a ghost. Just you're kind of ducking behind a couple of crates and dumpsters and stuff, and just stand to the shadows, and boom, you are within about 15 feet or less. Well, what do you want to do? You can get positioned where you want to be there, Sharps.
Well, I don't want to mess with anyone else's roles. Had something specific in mind, but I'll hold off on that. I just wanted to get behind the cool guy, the leader of the group.
Sure. Actually, you notice that if you did this, because the back of the place was still open, you're like, do a quick calculation, and rather than going inside, going outside, you go in and around and just make your way through the building, and you are standing on the other side of the door that they're busy having a smoke outside of. So you've effectively flanked them, and they do not seem to be aware of that. All right. Meanwhile, so they're Mix. As you turn to Ben K, and as part of your negotiations,
I do actually speak Japanese. If
Okay.
I have a reason to believe that they do. I think I do. But I've kind of forgotten why I have that reason to believe.
Well, the Yakuza are known
yeah.
to-
I know. I wasn't like.
They
Well,
didn't
no.
You
speak
have
it, though.
ties to this guy, right? The Yakuza.
Possibly.
They would have also seen it on my comms. Like,
Yeah,
right.
and
Yeah,
chance
you know
with it.
that they are. Whether Ben K does or not, you're not sure. So
Okay, I wasn't
you
thinking.
take a read of this, and he is so nervous that that Kara is going to fall for you and leave him. You get the idea of how to play this. You're like,
Beautiful. Love it.
you can make him feel so much more comfortable with you.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna wingman this guy.
Not only, yeah, you basically are like, you can quickly realize that if you can portray yourself as no threat at all for taking his girl, that will take all the sweat and just win you a bunch of points, which then you can cash in. So my next question is, how do you choose to convince him that you are no threat to him in the love department?
Hit on him.
I want to make him uncomfortable.
Well, you've done a pretty good job. This is your wheelhouse. I mean, talking people
Yeah.
into things, making people believe things. You look at him.
I would, if I can, prefer to talk them up in a way, like through the conversation, get to the point where I'm just like, this is the guy. But I'm not sure how we get there exactly.
Okay. So we can do either way, but basically, you talk to them, and in the span of a couple of minutes, you end up convincing him that he has nothing to worry about. I mean, you are apparently an actor according to the con you're running on them, and you got something like ungodly high on your con roll for them. So very quickly, you turn it around that you are not a threat, that you are maybe not interested in him, and certainly not that interested in her, but in a very friendly kind of way. And that's we don't need to draw that out, but you basically get a couple of, in hacking terms, it'd be like marks. You basically socially own them enough to be like, look,
yeah, sure. So it's more of a small talky, getting into the right mindset first before I actually go in for the kill.
Absolutely, they're pretty.
If it is socially appropriate, I'll totally show them like pictures of my kid.
Nice. Yeah, you can totally do that. And you spin it and say that your kid is trying to get into the. Oh, well, it's not me. I'm not really the actor, but it's my kid. So you spin it in that regard, that it's that kind of thing, and it takes it down a notch, and so they are basically primed and ready to try to weasel out of them. Are they involved in this? So I'm going to get you to do one more social check.
Okay, so not that negotiation. This is another one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, another one. And Mix, meanwhile, you got 2 hits on your negotiation, and the one little guy gets super pissed, like so much so he's like, ah! And he starts posting up, and the calm and cool one looks you in the eye, and just says, "Stop that fool before he shoots himself." He says in Japanese, and the other 3 nod, and just the guy starts bringing his pistol up, and the others have already grabbed his arms and are dragging him back and laughing at him as this massive Sasquatch is leaning over him. You intimidated him to the point where, or negotiated to the point where the little annoying dude wants to fight, but the others know how badly he would clean his clock, probably, and they deem that it's not a problem. Although the calm, cool, and collected one does look over mostly at Dino, who seems to be doing the talking, and says, "It's always fun to watch the little runts sweat." And you would think,
it though?
Who are you affiliated with, or do I really want to know?
Honestly, I'm just doing a job, man. We're looking for somebody. Maybe you might have seen him. I could make it worth your while. I don't have a lot, but I can give you what I can.
Yeah? Who are you looking for?
Believe it or not, looking for an elf.
Yeah, we get some of those around here. We don't even own them all.
I read off his description. 36, Caucasian. Last name.
And he mutters something in Japanese to the other guys as though he's kind of inquiring. And one of them calls back, and Bliss, you overhear it. And they're like, "Wasn't there that guy? He was talking to Mike after the show, right?" And the other's like, "Yeah, didn't seem too interested. He was kind of talking he came to the show after, but wasn't at the party." And he calls back to like, "Sorry, man. Fresh out of elves."
You didn't see him take off or nothing? Nobody picked him up? He didn't drive off?
Seriously? If he was smart, he'd go that way. And he motions back towards Renton and the Seattle proper. But these damn tourists get lost sometimes. I could put the word out.
Do.
I saw the person he was here to meet.
Yeah?
Is that possible? He was here to meet some guy named B.
Yeah.
Like B. Like Bzz, B.
Yeah, he was here. He was in a party after. Talking big, saying he was a big shot in the East Coast. Typical
How long
performer. Last night, man.
Where was the party?
It's not too far. Loft. We've got. By the way, you gonna make this worth our while, or do we have to escort you from the premises.
Click off 500 credits.
By the way, you guys got 3 in advance. 3K.
I will let each of you punch me as hard as you can.
That actually cracks a smile, and the little guy's like, frickin' deal, man. He goes and puts on some knucks. So, in lieu of payment, they're just like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and they go ahead and make a hard hit. Do a body resistance check.
Yeah.
I got 9 hits with a limit of 9.
Damn. All right. Ben K basically gives it up that there was an annoying dude hanging around with Mike B, and he tried to weasel into the party, but he's, no, you're not with us. And so we had to send him packing. But we did see him go when he left. He's parked down there, last I heard.
So,
And he points off, kind of off down the street, not quite the direction you guys came from.
my understanding is, so is this guy Yakuza? Like, I don't know if that's been established or not.
Yes, he's Yak. Yeah.
He is. But he is, I am not reading the situation that he's like, oh yeah, we
picked it. You get
right?
that this guy was small fry and annoying.
Totally. Okay. So
he left.
Then I move the conversation, being like, all right, well, if this is your area, people are going missing. Someone's behind it.
That's Touristville, bro. That's Touristville. You want to walk close to the edge. Some people fall off. If you want, I can put out some feelers.
I'm still going to slot the Yak leader through his comlink 500 creds with a thank you note.
He's like, you have a guest pass here. Careful, big guy. But go ahead. And you can have a day pass if you need anything. So you can mark down...
Thank you.
You now have a Yakuza contact. Just rating 1-1. No marks owed either way, but you've paid for access. And this is Nate. Is
Very
his name. Hey man, it's 2080. Everybody's everything.
You want a Japanese name? I can get you a Japanese name.
I actually want him to be Nate.
Okay,
You look at him.
Nate. No
You're
problem.
like, isn't your last name like? No, man, it's Nate. I was born like.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Do any of the punches amuse me at all?
The big guy actually queues up as well. Like the head honcho doesn't bother queuing up, but 3 of them try to for a couple of hits, and they're like, "Tough guy, huh?" And did you roll less than 5 hits on the shrug?
4.
4 hits. Okay, so they do manage with the combination of punches to get it to. You get 1 box of stun from one of them who knows. He fakes the shot one way and then catches you in the kidneys with a kick, actually. And then he's laughing, he's walking away, he's like, big hairy troll's funny, eh? And then the little dude queues up, and you pick up that he's primed his knucks, and there's a stun. They're electro stun, and he's gonna try to hit you with this thing that might actually hurt. Are you gonna let him do it, or?
No, I'm gonna riposte him.
Nice. So he comes in and you just catch his wrist. Go ahead and roll your riposte.
So I add that to unarmed combat, right?
Yep. Add unarmed combat, and that's your defense, basically. Floor dice.
It's a lot of dice. Oh, see, they keep going out. Problem with a green back.
It's that sound, man. Kaboom.
It's for dramatic effect. 5 hits.
All right, so
So what I'll try to do is, you can tell me whether I got it. But what I'm going to try and do is kind of let the punch go by and then just like grab his wrist and then
for a big beast,
squeeze
you
his
move
hand,
surprisingly fast. And what do you do to him?
bite it off.
Yeah, you just
And
catch.
then-
You grab it and pull it off and bend it as it goes by. So you hear creak and you hear snap, snap as a couple of the bones in his hands snap fingers in his hands don't come out clean and bend way past the bend point and snap right off. As he rolled 1 hit, 6 dice, 3 ones. He glitched. So his fingers are all like, and he's just like, yeah, that's not fair. He said he was gonna. They're just like, shut up, shut up, shut up. And he's like, I'm gonna. And he says something in Japanese. Bliss, you pick up on it. He's like, yeah, my uncle's gonna find you, mother. And he's, he's gonna find you. This little punk kid seems to be referring to his uncle having some kind of power. You might want to put that in the back pocket. Oh, and they do call him, I don't know, I'm terrible at making up names.
It's fine.
They call him Lil Puke. Lil Puke seems to be his fake name. It seems to be his alias, Lil Puke. Alright. So you've effectively defused the Yakuza situation, and they don't seem to be involved. If you want them to do feelers for that 500, and with Mix talking them up, it seems like they are going to keep an eye out for you.
Cool.
Awesome.
I want to finish up my conversation with Mr. K. We need to know who else is working this neighborhood. And if you think it's just you, then we have a shared interest here to find out who it is.
That's fair. I guess if somebody's... He takes a look at you, and you're the only one they've seen. So he's like...
Yeah.
You're some kind of private investigator or something? Like, what are you? Like... Do you reveal that you're on a job to find this person, or do you just...
I don't think I do. I think I continue like...
You're subtle enough, weaving it.
Those guys
this is
are
a friend,
settings, man.
right? Like I said, I knew, the other guy, and that other guy said
Mike
that he
B.
knew this guy, so
Yeah.
we're all related.
So you're all just like, oh, it's trying to find... I gather you're trying to find your other friend. I'm sorry. I hope they're okay, but these are some pretty rough areas. Speaking of which, are you okay? Like, it's probably best to get to a like,
Can I
are you...
name drop
How are you
someone?
dressed
I wanna
right
name
now?
Drop somebody. Can I
Sure.
roll a knowledge so I can name drop somebody awesome? And be like, oh yeah, I mean, like, yes, I'm only here looking for my actual friend, but I do know the Yakuza. Right?
Okay.
Like, that's what I want to drop here.
Sure, yeah, go ahead and roll an etiquette roll.
Etiquette, sure. I have like a knowledge for organized crime as like
Oh,
an umbrella.
well, roll
I don't know if
that
that's,
instead. Roll that.
Okay. All right. I have them all coded as the same button. That's like the
Street knowledge. That's cool. So, yeah, 3 hits. You know enough of a name that to not drop anything like mega high.
Yeah.
You know enough names to just be like, no, I'm okay. Say hi to your mom for me, but in a non-insulting kind of way.
Yeah, totally.
And so he's like, all right, well...
Say hi to Madam Teslin.
Oh, Madam, huh? Oh, nice. All right, well, I guess you know your way around then. If you're looking for your friend, he's a little... I'm sorry, but he was a little bit being a jerk. He seemed all like...
Oh.
Yeah, he's a bit of a jerk trying to weasel his way in with Mike B. Mike B was having none of it, so...
You've given me a lead.
Packed
and I
on his
thank you
way.
for that.
He headed off, and he points off towards the direction.
Yeah, totally.
He said he had a car down there.
That's what he was saying. I didn't get eyes, but he was talking to Mike about it. Said he wanted to catch up, do a drive, as far as I ever heard. Mike was talking large at the time.
Well, thank you. You've given me a direction, and if someone else is involved, it's someone you don't know about, which is actually extremely useful.
He's either out of our league or a small fry. Tourists, man. Tourists. What are you gonna do? They pay their fee, they pay their ticket, then they go home. Have a story to tell Mom.
Arigato. I bow.
He bows back and answers in perfect Japanese. And okay, so you guys know that the yak don't appear to be involved, and you have
And I like
approximate
walk
time.
back and I see these everyone else here is like,
You just see them punching the crap out of His Majesty, and His Majesty just chuckling.
I just don't act like I know anyone. I just walk by. Send like a pig to everyone. Like,
And
"Oh,
now,
let's go."
Bliss, you wanted to do something to the little puke. What did you want to do to the little puke?
Oh yeah, please.
Oh no, I was just checking who he was to see if there was any exploitation potential, and I got 2 hits.
You pick up that he's like a nephew of somebody who's connected and therefore allowed to hang out and be annoying.
He's like the little brother they can't get rid of.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's little puke, and there's big puke, and you don't mess with big puke, and so therefore most people just kind of turn a blind eye to little puke.
Right. Okay.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't mess with someone whose handle is Big Puke, would you?
Probably not. No.
All right, I think we're going to take a little break right now. Let's say 10 minutes, cool? All right, so you guys leave the club area, and you can decide where you want to go when we come back. Is 10 cool?
Yeah.
I probably would have muttered to the cool guy as I passed by. I was like, you should watch your back more often.
Yeah, honestly, you come out of there, and he's just like, "Ooh." It's the only time you've seen him nervous at all, is he's just like, and you just right past him, and everyone else just kind of stands there and is just like, what just happened? And then the little dudes stormed off towards the back. The van starts up as Kara Turnbull and Ben Kay get in the van, go off, and you guys are free to pick where you want to go next. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes to maybe see what's next. Thanks very much for tuning in, internets. Don't forget you can always make suggestions and hijack my game, please. And we'll be back in just a few minutes. Cheers.
It might be longer, just we never know how long the dog will take.
It's cool.
No, we are at the whims of the bladder of a dog. Ain't nothing wrong with fighting punks in an alleyway.
Nah.
It'll pass the time. Alright, let's get back on stream, shall we? As soon as my camera decides to agree. Come on. There we are. Hey, welcome back. We're doing some Shadowrun tonight. My name is Todd. I'm going to be the DM. And we're here with a bunch of Deniable Asset Miscreants. And some characters, too. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Just a little joke. Alright, so let's dive back in. Bella will join us once she comes back. Let's do this thing. Alright. So you have left the place. You are, the rave is going on as you leave, and you start making your way back to your vehicles. The question is, where do you want to go from here? They did point off in a direction that this guy had left. Let's call it south.
We go that
East.
direction, yeah.
You can go on foot.
Direction that is.
You can go on foot, or you do have a hotel, or or some other option. You got some contacts. What do you want to do?
I was wondering if we should wander on down the street and see if we can find a car that got recently screwed up or whatnot.
Yeah, I'm thinking something similar. I'm thinking also,
You do have the plate of his car.
keep eyes on the astral plane, see if we see any, magic residue.
All right. Yeah, for sure.
Something left over from a spell. Might as well.
Yep.
I'm gonna take that thing that I ripped off the guy's hand and kind of smell it and ask, are these things useful?
It is a Nux, so it's one of a pair of basically steel brass knuckles, and it's got a shock pad built into it. It is somewhat bent, but you might be able to use it if you want to, or someone else could. It would not fit your hand.
No, he doesn't want to use it. He's just curious about what it is.
So you're busy looking at that. You guys,
More like It was just very clear to him that someone was attempting to use a weapon on him, which was not part of the deal. He was slightly annoyed about the kick to the face, or wherever that kick landed.
Kidney.
Probably
Kidney.
not the face.
No. They'd have a hard time kicking you in the face. Just height alone. But,
Unless they do one of those. Yeah.
yeah, like one of those wild taekwondo leaps. No, they did not manga attack you. They were just taking shots at the big dude in the room who was like, go ahead, hit me. The little guy was trying to punch you in the balls, though, when you caught his hand and basically bent his hand until it snapped. All right, so you guys make your way back out to the front. You start making along. You pass by, and as you're heading back towards the southeast, I want to see some perception checks. Aura sensing if you're doing it magically. And
I'm assuming like you can really only do one or the other probably
Yeah.
effectively. So even though I am decent at the sensing, I think other people are better. So I'll do perception.
I'll slow down and measured steps for a sensing check. I got shit.
Wow.
We have 4 on a sensing.
Nice.
This fucking thing hates me today.
yeah,
It's been giving me shit rolls all
you've
night.
got
Sucking up all the
Darcy's
luck.
rolls, is what that is.
I blame Darcy.
Yeah,
you should.
sh-
You should always blame me.
All right, Gemini with 5 perception hits. So, and I believe His Majesty had 4. Darcy getting the 5 as well. Bliss, what are you doing as you're walking along with this big group? You're a big enough group with a big enough people that no
You're doing a
one
matrix search.
is going to mess with you.
Matrix perception.
Yeah, you could if you want to.
Put on the aerospace.
Yeah, since we kind of gathered that they're not involved, I think I want to do a bit of a more deep dive into Mike B.
Sure.
Because he didn't, if I understood what was transpiring with the conversation, Mike didn't seem really, was it Jason who was trying to talk to him, and he didn't seem very thrilled?
Yeah, that's pretty much what you picked up. Is Jason
Then, yeah.
was trying to chat up with Mike B. He did know him, but basically gave the brush off and left to go to the party. As far as you know, they didn't seem to get along from what you gathered. Not particularly.
All right, yeah. I want to do a little bit deeper dive into him to see how they know each other.
And I can like
He might have... What?
Sorry. Start talking about. I also had got some information, so you can have a starting point, right?
Absolutely. So go ahead and do you want to activate a complex form on this one? Do you want to bring in a sprite? Do you want to just do a straight up hack? What do you want to do?
No, I'm gonna actually bring in a information.
One of the data sprite type things?
Let me think here. Yeah, I don't want that one. Yeah, data sprite.
All right. Go ahead and make your compiling check. I believe that is...
My compiling is 12.
Oh, yes. You are the machine whisperer. You reach out to the Matrix. Now, it is spotty out here. I'm going to give you a point of noise. So you're actually -1 dice to your dice pool, just based on not the greatest of Matrix connections in this part of the Barrens. It's still Touristville, so you have some. 2 hits?
Yeah, 2
All right,
hits.
so you get 2 services on a what level spirit or sprite?
He...
I should ask you that before.
Right.
You can pick a rating 1 to 6. Technically, you could do over 6, but that would risk overcasting, which would potentially mess you up real bad.
He's a level 6.
All right.
So
that real. I was considering trying to do the conversion for the the probabilities of making this a game with D20 and simplify the crap out of the rules, basically make it D&D but Shadowrun. I'm still thinking about that, but you'd miss that sound.
Talk to me later. I have an idea for you if you want to go with it.
And I've also talked with another stream, RPG, what are they? Random Encounters Productions. So I was observing them. They did that for a little while before 6th came out, and I don't know. It would definitely simplify things, but I just do a lot of hand waving. All right, so okay, so you're going to be resisting a total of 3 stun. So go ahead and roll your fading resistance, which if I remember correctly is 11 dice, and you're resisting 3 stun. Could have been worse. And you get 2 hits on the services from the sprite. Anybody else want to do anything while she's busy whispering to the Matrix?
We're looking around, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Trying to.
With 5 perception, you guys walk for a while, and you come up pretty quickly on a couple of things. Number 1, Mix, you just tune right into social things, and the non-social stuff isn't really your forte. So you don't see the other thing, but you do see a couple.
Sarah Fabriel said, "Hearing those dice, I'm reminded that I need more dice."
Absolutely. Oh, that reminds me. I should. Oh, that's maybe what I'll do. I'll start doing giveaways of dice, just D6s for the a D6 set.
1 D6 at a time.
1 D6. No, that wouldn't be worth the shipping cost. That'd be just ridiculous. Unless it was like a signed
envelope.
Yeah, just boop, there you go. That's a good idea. I kind of like that actually. I might. Yeah, I had to dig for my dice and raid board games like I was 12 again. Nice. All right. So Mix, you see a couple of things. You see, a bunch of kind of low. As you're walking this direction, it gets more and more worn down. The touristy bits of the area. This is the grunge, and it gets real grungy as you go ahead. The rest of the team starts. You're busy picking up other things, and most of you pick up that as you continue this direction, it is more and more destitute. Some of the windows are smashed out. You keep walking. You see like homeless or squatter types hanging
Sarah
around
Fabriel
more and more.
Said, "Surprised face."
And yeah. And the thing that you spot, there's a couple of things there, Mix. You see you round one corner, and what used to probably be like a used car lot or something is empty, and in place of where they would have put all the cars, relatively tall, like 4 or 5 story buildings on both sides, you see these dumpsters, and they are, as you're walking along, you see into some of them. Some of them have the plastic tops either on or semi-closed. Some of them are propped up a little bit, and you see people. And because you're seeing in the astral as well, or you can at least, at times, this is over an extended period of time.
Sure. Yeah.
You see
every once in a while. Sure.
More and more, and anyone who did a sensing as well and dual natured, you see people. You see 4 in one just kind of hanging out inside this dumpster. You get the read. This is home.
Yeah.
You see on the other side more and more. You see some kids running around amongst here. There's dirt on the ground. Garbage piles are there. They're kicking a few things around. It is rough. It is real rough.
It's the kinds of people who might have seen something, but they're not actually like directly relevant. Cool.
Yeah, I mean you can take a look. Most of them, if they see certainly the 2 massive guys. But anybody who carries themselves with enough confidence, they'll probably leave you alone. But if you carry the stench of weakness, it probably wouldn't go well. It is nighttime, and you can hear kids crying, and like you can see these squatters living a rough life. A little further down.
I like my people, so to me, I'm like, it's fine with me because this is how the tribe lives sometimes.
Absolutely.
From place to place.
I mean, this is even pretty rough for tribe. Like, these are real fallen off. But absolutely. Especially, I mean, the Orc Underground and other connected groups, they come together and protect each other. This is rabble and squabble. And they don't even have enough to warrant... I mean, they might have their own little minor gangs, but they don't even seem to have enough talent, skill, or calories to burn for these kinds of throwaway jobs. But you present something tasty to them, and they will cut you to get it. But being the 5 of you, well, they only see 4 of you as Sharps is just ghosting along beside. They give Bliss a bit more of a look. Any of the humans they give a look at, they can see. Especially Mix. By the way, Mix, are you dressed more corporate, more street? Somewhere that's nondescript in between?
I'm wearing auctioneer business clothes.
Okay, so they are definitely noticing you go by, and you can see this look of hunger in their eyes, and and then they see His Majesty just thumping along beside you, and the big troll coming along who looks like he knows what he's doing. He's seen this kind of street before, and they leave you.
Yeah.
They kind of quickly look away, and a couple of the littler ones kind of stare at you as you go by, hunger in their eyes.
Yeah, I'd love to take a moment to see if they've seen anything, talk to them. Like you said, maybe actually get them some food. But so I float the idea to everyone, just like they might have seen something. Do we have a moment to talk?
Literally a look from His Majesty, and they scatter. A few of them close their dumpster lids. They don't want the risk. They have no kind of health care. They would not. It wouldn't be worth the risk.
Sure.
There are a few that don't seem to shudder and implode when you guys look at them. You can maybe talk to one of them.
Cool. Yeah, so I float the idea. I don't want to waste anyone's time if people have other things they want to do.
Meanwhile, Bliss, you're digging into Mike B. You get that he's staying here. He's flying away tomorrow. You don't get a whole lot on him other than that he's basically a mid to low level performer most of the time, and he's scrambling and hustling to try to make it, but he's had no breaks. And he does owe a fair amount of money. You get the idea that collection calls are probably inbound, but besides that, you don't get a lot on Mike B.
Okay.
All right. That, by the way, is what His Majesty looks like in behind Steve there. Would you mess with that? He's a monster in a street full of monsters. Wow. Yeah, that's
he just wants a hug.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, no kidding. Teddy bear. So anyway, you do see a handful of people who don't literally evaporate when you glance at them. But besides that, there's nothing that stands out too much. I'd say there's probably 2 or 3 possibles. One of them's kind of a human balding, or bald even, and little kind of like wearing, what they would call the wife beater shirt. And wait a sec, you kind of recognize that dude, actually. And he's kind of talking with a couple of the squatters, and he looks up at you guys and kind of makes eye contact with Mix and kind of does this half-hearted smile. Oh no, he didn't see Mix. He sees Dino and His Majesty and gives a half-hearted smile, and just tries to get a read on you. You've seen that dude before out in front of the club, who evaporated when the
Sarah
real bouncer showed up.
Said, "Messin' with sasqautch."
That might be a good episode title, I'm just saying. All right, moving along. Sharps, you're the first one to see it, actually. You see...
Here we go.
You see a car. It's up on blocks. stripped. No doors. Nothing of value inside. Seats are gone. Tires are gone. Engine being dismantled. And you don't see any people around. It's just up on these blocks. It's been stripped down. It is a Ford Americar. You could get a little closer. It's like a sedan if you wanted to, but it looks like it was brought here and never left.
Does it look like it's recent that it's been here?
Yeah, you see a couple of other
Like
wrecks
it's just
around
been-
here, but this one looks like it's been stripped recently. You can even see bits of oil. Like, they went so far as to, like, drain the oil before they pulled most of the engine out of it. And so you
Sarah
see,
Fabriel
Holy crap.
you
said,
see on the ground...
XD.
Yeah, this thing has been stripped probably within the last recent while. Like, certainly there's oil stains on the ground, and it doesn't look like it's rusted out or anything. You could scan for the VIN if you want there, Bliss.
Yeah, and also just to double, on my previous two scans for Mike B and Jason,
Mhm.
did I gather, because I know I got a picture of Kara,
Mm-hmm.
but did I get a picture of either Jason and or Mike B?
You have a picture of Jason. In fact, you got really good quality pictures that were provided. Mike B, you have a headshot from the program, so you would recognize him on site.
But all right, so I'll transmit that to everybody so that they can start
Alright. So,
questioning you.
Mix, you actually approach some of these the slightly less terrified squatters, and you have a picture to show if you want to, and they definitely give the impression like, I shouldn't be talking to you, but some of them don't run away.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'll do I do a hack for the VIN?
Just roll a quick matrix perception check.
Matrix perception. Ooh. All right.
So as Mix walks up to some of these people, the one of them, the human, looks up at you and is like, "Yeah, if anybody down here says to you, complimentary valet service, I wouldn't believe them." Motions towards the car that you guys seem to be interested in.
Your name?
I'm nobody.
I haven't had a good look at that van yet. That
Fair enough.
you're interested in.
Not either.
The van?
Uh,
That van that they were loading stuff into?
Yeah, are there people in it?
Oh, that's long gone now, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they hopped in. They were going to some kind of storage unit. There were two people, Kara and Ben K. So this guy's like, I'm nobody, Ome. I'm just ghost on the
Okay.
streets.
Me neither. From one nobody to another.
You don't dress
the
like
car.
a nobody. You dress like a target. Good thing you got muscle with you, I gotta say. Not from me. I don't bring any heat. You don't have 25 new yen?
Have somewhere I can send it?
He holds up a cred chip. Not a sin,
Yeah.
but a cred chip.
I'll slot him 25.
Alright, he takes it. He's like, yeah. Some people around here, they don't take too kindly to people who look like you. No offense.
Yeah. No, I understand that. You seem smart. It's good.
Gotta be smart,
Not over.
lucky, or dead.
Does work for nobodies like us if you're willing to do something dirty. What do you know about the car?
Oh, some schmuck left it here as an offering. I think
Did they really leave it here? Were they driven off?
Oh, well.
Look, I'm willing to work with you. I understand I'm coming in here asking a lot of questions. You don't owe me nothing.
By the
I'll
way,
make it
Bella,
up to you.
matrix perception, that would be intuition plus your computer skill. Yeah, I was here. I mean, I wasn't here the whole time or nothing, but he came, dropped it off, went up that way. Tourists, visiting. No offense.
Some elf kid, right?
Yeah, some elf kid. Some guy. He's, I'm gonna call him kid, but they all look pretty. This guy's got pockmark. Like, he probably hasn't had a good meal in, 3 weeks. Like, he's eaten, but it's, junk. He is somewhat more presentable.
I wish I could get them something, but I don't think I can. What
25 new yen will stretch a little,
right? Yeah, right. So I think money's all I can do, right, at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Cutter's got the car. I don't know what happened to him. He came back here and just swearing, talking about his luck, saying that this is just what he needed. He was yelling, right? And this other squatter kind of pops up his head wearing some goggles that are broken in one lens. It's like, yeah. I'm pretty sure the tourist went that way. Dumb bastard. He points off, not the direction you guys came, directly south, kind of towards. It's a bit of a twisty nest of areas around here, and so
walking, huh?
Well, they don't exactly have cabs here, and he didn't have a phone after a couple of those guys came by and took it. Again, no offense. I don't want to be seen. Maybe we can walk and talk.
We can walk and talk.
If you make it worth my while, come on.
Cool. Yeah.
So he takes you into kind of what would have been at one point a storefront, but the windows are gone, and there's a couple of people in there, and they kind of shudder a little bit when he walks in, when you guys walk in, but then he gives a nod, and they kind of evaporate out the back. So at least you're in an indoors area. You can see through to the second floor and water dripping down in a couple of holes. It's like Swiss cheese. This is definitely a rough area. Your suit is definitely standing out and making them nervous, but the troll and the Sasquatch always makes people nervous, but
so friendly though.
he is. You're a giant teddy bear, but you're giant. So this guy's like, I'm gonna have to change blocks for a little while because they saw me talking to you, but the Cutters, they mugged them real good. Took him right back to his boxers. Took his shoes. Took his
Just
coat.
let him go. Let him walk off.
Well, they kicked his ass a little bit first, but I mean, one of them scanned him down and threatened to cut his eyes out, but they just laughed after this guy was begging for his life. Said it was just like, worst day of my life. All this stuff. The poor schmuck goes on and on, but I mean, nothing you don't deserve. You come flashing cash around here without enough. And he points towards the big guys.
No, I get it. So we got a direction?
Yeah, he went south towards the towers, but
all right.
They don't exactly serve cab service down here. Oh, and are you guys in okay with? Are you connected with the Cutters at all? That's a gang in there. Am I saying that right? The Crimson Cutters? What am I saying? I may have done my minor amount of reading as wrong. So you're not in good with the. Okay, well, go easy as you go south.
Can you give me a word with whoever stripped it down?
There's a chop gang.
Yeah, going in the right direction.
I did not tell you this.
I don't care what they've got. I'm just looking for the guy. But there's one thing they had.
All right, they're up on 148th. By the way, if you get anywhere near 200th, you're gonna, if you don't roll happy with the Cutters, you're gonna want to steer clear or stay quiet.
Okay. Can I
think maybe your elf friend?
Oh Jesus! Where the hell did you come from? Oh, all right.
always
I don't
been
need
here.
to. I don't need to worry about any of you guys no more. Oh, 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 hell.
You handle yourself well. You're still standing. Can I, is there anything I could do to try to actually, like, set this guy up, like, to become a Shadowrunner? Like with a fixer or something? Yeah, like, legit.
You can set him up with you if you want. You are a fixer.
That's true.
You can give him your number.
Like,
He's got a pan. Bliss, you pick it up. It's a real cheap piece of crap, but
cool.
You
Yeah.
know
No,
what?
I want to see, like,
I'll add. I tell you what. I'll help his plate out a little bit here. I'll throw on another 500 for him. That'll get him started on some gear.
damn. Thank you. If I can help.
No. Don't thank me yet. You work for us now, especially him. And I point to Mix.
yeah, actually, can I use my leadership just to, like, assert myself as a leader?
Yeah,
That's
go
like what
for
it's
it.
normally for. Like, I just didn't use it
Absolutely,
as
and
a,
in
like,
fact, Dino's giving. If this was D&D, you'd have the assist. So
6.
you can go ahead and throw any of the negotiations or something in, and that'll be extra dice that Darcy gets to roll. You're already at 6, though. So
That's 6. Yeah, I could roll an extra 1 die.
yes, sir, Mr. Johnson,
It was
sir.
a 0. Yeah.
Yes, sir, Mr. Johnson, sir.
All right.
The name's Jerry. I know this area a little bit, and best of all, people don't really look at me.
There's only so much Nguyen's gonna do. I think you got the right attitude, though. I think we can make something of you.
Yes, sir. I'll do.
Here, take this.
Oh, is that the shock thing?
Shock Nux. He's like, all right. Hold up. So you have an informant contact now, street level informant.
Nice, great.
Loyalty. Let's roll a composure check and see.
Now I'm gonna play this kid next episode.
Jerry, informant, definitely loyal. He's loyalty 3 because you just gave him more money than he's seen in half a year, and he's happy to help you
I'm
out.
all about buying loyalty. Sure,
Connection
no
2. He's got a well. I'll let Darcy fill in the details next time you play him.
Jerry.
I feel like this should be like Shadowrun Chronicles or something like that. Like the cast of characters. I don't know. That's
as a person, I only have so much I can offer. I can offer like influence, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working with.
no, absolutely. So you
and, like,
have him, and he's like,
This is a Shadowrunner backstory. Yeah, you're
Yep.
nobody. I get it. Yeah.
Yep.
This guy's sinless for sure.
Oh yeah. Nice. All right. I guess I can take you there, but you're gonna have to. Well, I know you can move quiet. But how about the big guys? If you got wheels, make sure they're electric and silent, or you come with a SWAT team because. I mean, well, it depends on where you want to go. I can take you in the direction he went, or
I turn back to everyone else. And like, I don't think we all need to go to the cutters. You should probably follow the trail. I got something I need to do.
We're sure he went down this way.
yeah.
Well, I'm judging tension. I don't know.
He's convinced. He's telling you the truth as far as you can tell. He
Okay,
doesn't.
we don't need to go back to the club then because he was there. He went to go talk to Mike B, talk some shit. He might have had something going on. Mike B turned him down. He bitched out, went to his car. The cutters got a hold of him, beat the crap out of him, stripped him down, sent him on his way again.
And
Ugh.
it's from this, you would know this. It's a bit of a twisty route around Redmond. The most direct route to downtown and the more corporate enclaves, you can see them. This is why it's Touristville. It's like in the shadow of all that light. And so a straight shot to the towers in the nicer area looks like it's that way, but that actually runs around a lake. And therefore, you actually have to go straight towards the ocean and then south. And this guy, if he's disoriented,
Unless he takes a bus or something.
Jerry's like, yeah, the bus doesn't really. I mean,
Oh, I mean, the northern part of Touristville.
Yeah, if you
The
head
more
up
western
that way,
part, northwestern part.
Yeah,
not in this area, no.
No, as you move further and further this way, eventually
We're heading south, right?
You're heading east and south.
East and south. Oh yeah, we're heading more towards core Redmond, and
Yeah,
so
it gets rougher
he
and
might
rougher.
have. So if he turned around and went the opposite way, he might have caught a bus in about 10 blocks.
Yeah, but if he stayed on the south course, it gets worse. Eventually, you end up hitting the lake, having to go around it or further north. So if he kept going south, he's going to hit some serious dreck down that way.
I don't think he went that way. Unless he's a complete moron.
And that's why I think he went that way. He's caught. He has no idea. He went to Touristville. He has no idea where he's going.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah. So I feel like I need to grab my sniper rifle, so I'm going to go and
Bliss,
that.
Your data sprite, what's its name?
Two.
Chew. Spelled Tewu. Tewu.
Oh, pew.
Tew. Bliss. I found some connections. If you want them.
Absolutely, yes. Please.
Mike B. and this Jason Tanner. I cracked the university pages. Found the old archive photos. I think facial recognition is a match. Here they are. In front of you is just like all these photos just of various people and productions and stuff. It looks like they were friends together. Did a lot of hanging out. You can see pictures of pubs and good times, and then the pieces start to fit together after a little while. You're like, wait a minute, no. They were close. They were real close. You get the impression.
All of that was in the voice of the sprite.
Oh, was it? Oh, I'm sorry.
Like this casual sprite that's just like, yeah, they were over there, just jump, yeah.
I forgot I changed the hotkey, so my voice was all like robotic there. That's hilarious. You get the impression that Mike B and Jason Tanner were real close in university. And you get the impression it might have been not just platonic.
Mm-hmm.
You see some cuddly photos. You see them. There's a real close affection between them. Or at least there was.
In the photos.
Yeah. And these photos are dated from, back when they would have been in their early 20s. So a good, 18 years ago.
So, do I get anything as to when approximately that closeness would have started
to drift?
Mm-hmm.
With the data sprite's help, you can crack an old server log of it's sort of like Instagram messages, but you can actually read their replies back and forth. And one of the last photos of them together, you can kind of read the bot. Go ahead and do a sense motive check, actually.
Oh, God.
It's a big sense motive. Intuition plus charisma? Is that
okay.
it?
Well, you're looking for judge intentions?
Judge intentions. That's what I want.
Okay, that I know where it is. And it's charisma and intuition.
Yeah, so go ahead and roll that.
3 successes.
3 successes. You can tell by the body language, Mike was on to bigger and better things, and Jason, you can practically see the lingering looks. and the last message kind of scrawled in one of the yearbook photo type things. You see, all the best. Hope to stay in touch. I'll visit the East Coast soon. Cheers. Jason. Looks like...
Yeah, I'm definitely going to share that information. I'm wondering now if this is actually... if he's missing or what's going on. We'll see. All right.
All right, so you guys, with a guide of Jerry guiding you the way, you make it. Do you want to take the shot that maybe he went north, or do you want to continue south? Jerry's saying he saw him go that way, south.
And I'm like sending Jerry with them, and I'm going to head off to the see if I can find the cutters, and I want to see if I can find his wedding ring.
Okay, are you going?
That's my goal. I'm going off on like my own little mission here. It has nothing to do with the actual job. We're done the Soja Bar. Everyone's going to start shooting things now. I don't even care about that.
So let me just...
I've read the room.
Have you are you going alone, or are you going to take wheels? What are you going to do to get out of here? Because you can make the same mistake that Jason Tanner made if you want to.
I guess that's a decent point. I mean, I'm pretty great, but...
I think it'd be safer if you drove.
Yeah, I would have, since my sniper rifle is in my
Yeah.
I would have used Gridlink to get my car over here.
As far as possible, and then when Gridlink stopped, you hopped in it? Yeah, sure. So you're within a quick little hop over to some wheels. Are you all going to wheel up, or are you going to stay on foot, or what's the deal?
How far are we going to go again?
It has wheels.
He was on foot, and he was heading south, so probably don't got to go too far. I don't know, we're checking gutters at this point, yeah?
I got a question.
Okay.
Would summoning a spirit of man to help us in the search, would that help?
Definitely couldn't hurt. You want to go ahead and summon?
Yeah, but it's
Definitely couldn't hurt, he says.
Well, just a simple spirit of man to...
Well, I guess it could hurt if you...
if I do it wrong, yeah. So, head him down the same path and see if he spots anybody.
Sure, you can.
And he's not going to have to go far.
It's on foot.
Yeah, just see if he can spot a naked elf.
So go ahead and summon a spirit for me.
It was going to be a force. Hit the button before I called the force.
Okay.
I was going to summon a force 2.
A force 2? Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing too heavy. Okay, you're going to be shrugging 2 drain. So go ahead and do that.
Let me roll for this.
And you get 2 net hits, so you get 2 services. So you kind of stand on the street for a second, and everyone else kind of keeps piling into vehicles or going on foot, getting on their big bike as His Majesty kind of goes and retrieves that. And you stand there in the drizzle for a few seconds and take a deep breath in, reach into the astral plane, and then just call out to any friendly voices that might answer. After a few seconds, the shadows come to coalesce into this shape in the corner, and it's
got 2 successes on drain.
Nice. So you're not feeling any pain. You look to your left, and there's this. It's as though this person has been there the whole time. This spirit of man, and it's this old. It's almost like you summoned one of those squatters forth, but there is a knowledge in their eyes, and their skin they seem solid at a glance, and they are sitting there next to you as if they've been there the whole time. And then when they look at you, you see their eyes are just a starscape, galaxies in their eyes. Everything else about them looks like they could just blend into any dumpster.
I give him general description, the name.
Yes.
And he went that way. We need to find him.
You've lost your way.
He has lost his way, and we need to locate him.
Of course.
So for the first favor to be see if he can locate this said individual that went in that general direction, or at least somebody fitting that description. Upon finding him, return to me and let me know where he's at. And since everybody else has smaller vehicles, I'm going to be the one walking.
You might be able to cram on the back of His Majesty's bike if you want.
How big is that damn bike? Versus how big he is?
Oh, actually, no, that's not true.
No.
He could use my Segway.
I'm still 8 feet tall. Your Segway's a roller skate.
I'm sure I got
my
some
balance-
rope or
well,
some bungee.
here's the thing.
I'm sure I got some rope or some
I
bungee
can
rope. I
walk
can
it.
get you
I
to
can-
the
You're the one
do
who
that
can
strap
like
to the
get
top
in.
of my vehicle.
I'm more worried about you guys making sure nobody else gets hurt. I live in this kind of area, so
The
If
spirit, by the
nothing
way.
else happens on this run, there needs to be a troll on a Segway.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. So Bliss gets in the car. I'm going to say that's His Majesty's plot point for the evening. So you step on this thing. You're like, how hard can it be? Kids ride these things. So
Yeah.
can I get you to do an agility plus reaction check?
It's more,
Agility.
he'd be about like this on it,
this is not comfortable nor funny. Well, kind of funny.
It's kind of funny. All right, so Bliss piles in with Sharps in his car. Mix.
I have a pilot groundcraft. Would that help?
It's more about the size being an issue. Sure, you can do pilot
yeah.
groundcraft, but
Well, I can do the agility reaction. I'll do
agility reaction to just make sure that everything is.
I got 4. I'm good.
Nice.
I'm working it out. I'm
You're
using
just like,
the knees.
this reminds you of yeah. You're gonna be a little sore from hunching, but you're definitely scooting along behind this. And Jerry's in the car with Bliss and Mix pointing in the front seat. All right, so you guys cruise for a while, and you go, and after a while, some of the burnt-out buildings kind of fall by the wayside. And you get a little closer to the lake, and things around here are either just like Beirut on a bad day, or just hovels, and there's so much loss and just depression around here. If you look astrally, it's just like oof. As you go forward, you can sense just this. Anyone who's awakened can sense this crackling unwellness from a little bit further off to the left towards where Glow City is. And you see
Oh shit, we're heading towards Blue City.
Yeah, you're close enough. It's down and to the left. It's quite a bit further east. But you are sandwiched in between Beaver Lake, which is Glow City, and whatever this one is, I forget the name.
Yeah, Semanish. That's where we're going past. Okay, yeah, near the body mall.
And your spirit, every once in a while, because you're on the Segway, and I'm going to make that canon, because you're on the Segway, it's able to pop up and whisper in your ear, this way. He came this way.
I tell over the comm link, my spirit's saying going this way.
You're literally taking the lead, and the car's following the troll on the Segway, and you guys go up, and eventually it crests up over, and it's about the lights of the city you see from this slight hill vantage point. Just you see a cliff ahead where the land has fallen away, and it looked like it was at one point a building that's collapsed, but it was right on the edge of a slight hill down towards the lake. And then you see the lake itself and the lights from the city glistening off of it. It's actually quite a pretty view. And the spirit, you see him standing on the edge of this cliff ahead of you and looking down.
Okay, stop the Segway. Just kind of carry it on my shoulder. Just kind of walk up
Yeah,
where the spirit's standing and look down.
You look down, you can see the edge of the water. It's actually, if it wasn't so decrepit here, it would be kind of beautiful and quiet.
I'm not going anywhere in that water.
No, that's fair. You're still a good 30, 40 feet away from it anyway, now, but
Okay.
with a bit of a vantage point. And the spirit just raises this kind of rough and tumble hand and points down right near the water.
Do I see anything down there? Do I got a rope?
Do a perception check.
Okay. I got a 3.
Nice. You see, it takes you a few seconds as you scan, and the rest of you kind of come up beside, and you're standing on this.
I got thermal natural, so.
Oh, right. So you look through, and there's no thermal signatures. And then after a while, you see this little pile, this little lump near the water, kind of a little bit in the water. Looks vaguely humanoid.
Okay, I'm going to set the Segway down so I don't break it, lose it, drop it, whatnot.
Bliss and the rest of you guys, you all hop out and you're standing next to Dino at this point. You can all make out.
I'm going to make my way down there.
Sure, go ahead.
Carefully.
Pardon, Bliss?
Can I look around to see if there are any, cameras, street cameras, or any buildings in the area that may have a camera?
Sure. Do a matrix perception check for me.
With Redmond the way it is, the matrix feed out here actually kind of sucks. You're lucky you're getting not a bad
you do have generation. A sight. You would be at negative 3 dice pool at this point because of the radiation off of Glow City. You're not in it, but it's enough to disrupt even at this range. But you are sight lines to the towers of the city. So let's call it -2 on your dice pool. And go ahead and roll that. Meanwhile, can you go ahead and make a climbing check or athletics kind of check there, Dino? And anyone else heading down, you got to kind of navigate the rubble. I see His Majesty reaching for his dice. Mix, are you staying up with the car? And Sharps, what are you going to do?
I'll go down with them. I got some pretty good agility, so...
Nice, go ahead and do that. I see Bella, you got 5 hits, and you're like, oh, it's so spotty out here. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Before we do go down this pretty steep thing that we're going down, right?
Yeah, sections of it are. You could go around, but it would take a while.
I do believe I have some wire that I can help me with this.
Okay, yeah.
I do have 100 meters, 200 meters of micro wire, so I'll just attach that to my car and head on down.
Nice, absolutely. You stay with the car. Bliss, you staying in the car?
Be better if she did.
Yeah, I'm staying up top, but if I do see any kind of feed, I'm going to try to hack in. Or actually, I have another action from my sprite that I haven't used, so I will have...
You'll have them help?
Yeah.
All right, so roll your hacking and then add the force of your sprite, which was 6. As you do manage to spot, there is a camera. It's hard to tell if it's got a great angle on here or not, but you can see it. And in the Matrix in particular, it was well disguised. It's probably part of somebody's hideout, but it may or may not be working, but you can go ahead and try to hack that. Meanwhile, Yaofan with 2 gymnastics, you navigate down the hill. It's a little tricky. Holy damn, Bella. As Bella just rolls 9 successes, not 9 dice. So that's a lot. So yeah, you own that camera. You're just like, oh, this was somebody's porch cam from, it's like an old one, old out-of-date software that was probably here before.
Ring.
Yeah, you're just like, and you grab it, no problem. It's yours. We'll come back to that in just a second. Sharps, you get down there, no problem. You get down there before Dino does, as Dino's kind of picking his way amongst the rubble. How did you do there, His Majesty? Or are you staying up top? 3 hits. You're basically walking down and shuffling a little and scrambling, but you do make it down. 2 hits were the necessary. So it takes Dino the longest. He started the first, and it takes him the longest. You turn around
Take my time.
Yeah, you turn around, and first of all, Sharps just steps out from behind some rubble, and His Majesty comes lumbering down behind you, almost like there's no hill, just thump, thump, thump. The slope not really throwing him off. And Dino, you also, just beside Sharps, you look up and you see your spirit, mostly on the astral plane. So Sharps is a bit unaware of it, just standing there beside him. The eyes, just this starscape. And
I actually, I thank him for his services and dismiss him. He had 2 services. I only needed 1. So I thank him for his
he gives a little,
and
It gives a nod and it turns and looks and turns back to him and says, it turns back to you and says, "Thank you. This I'll save for free. The most dangerous of shadows. Sometimes within." And he just goes translucent before your very eyes. And in behind you see the edge of the lake just ahead of you. You're careful not to touch the water.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything kind of long? Actually, do you have anything that can kind of get it? You see a body. You see something floating in the water. Looks like a body. It's about 10 feet in.
I just look around. Is there a pole, steel bar, rebar? Something left of this building that may have been part of the construction.
You could probably start prying something out of some of this rubble.
Yeah, just
the first three things you find. Go ahead, or anybody else who wants to try and somehow retrieve this, as Dino's prying it.
Strand. I could try to make a lasso and.
Nice. So you start.
I do have a grapple gun.
Nice. I'm gonna let you buy this one. Also, it's getting a bit late. So as these guys are you see Dino prying out a pry bar, seeing if it's long enough. Oh, that was too short. Click clang. You see His Majesty kneel down and start threading and tying this rope. Bunny goes through the hole, and then meanwhile Sharps is just like, hits it. No reaction. The little electric motor almost silent as it reels in this big fish, and as you pull up, you see this mostly. You see this almost naked humanoid body. You get it to the shore.
No pulse.
No pulse. You roll it over. It's your guy. His skin is cold.
Crap! I don't have any medicine or first aid. No, I don't have anything like that.
How dead is he?
You can go ahead and roll logic, and if you have a med kit, you can add a med kit to it. Yeah, if you have first aid, you can roll first aid.
Med kit. 2 hits.
I can help him with that. Is it medicine?
Yeah.
2.
Sharps has a medicine skill. You, sir, are a man of mystery. Where did you pick up medicine? That's an interesting backstory. Maybe we'll find that next time. All right.
Well, when you put holes in people, you have to learn how to patch yourself up when they shoot back.
That's fair. All right, so you get a look at this spot. It is hours old. Hours and hours. And just laying there, it doesn't... To read the expression on the face is a little hard. It's frozen solid, but if anything, you can kind of see this look of grim determination.
Well, do we have any tarps or anything we can wrap him up in and bring him back? Mount him like a deer across the hood, I guess.
This is our guy Jason, right?
This is Jason Tanner.
This is who we were looking for. So we're gonna have to tie him off, hog tie, and put him across the hood.
No, I'll just pick him up and throw him over my shoulder and start walking back uphill.
Yeah.
After he's been sitting in that muck, that'll destroy your armor.
Sasquatch.
Armor.
You might need to.
It would be his fur, but yeah.
Oh, it's pretty toxic water.
Yeah, it's close to Glow City. It's radiation.
Maybe I'll just hold him out like this, far away.
What if we can scavenge a few tarps or something and wrap them up?
I'm going to say you can probably find something in Sharp's car. Internet, what do they find that they could wrap a body in? Because this is a Shadowrun now. What do you happen to have handy?
Oh no.
He would have some plastic tarp to clean up
Shit, I'll spend a plot point and say Sharp's got at least 5 body bags in the back of his car.
Oh yeah, that's just
Maybe 2 or 3 of them used.
Yeah, that's fair. You just dump them into the lake. Let me just shake this out. God, that's so dark. All right.
We're going dark, folks. Hang in there.
Whew, that did not go the way I thought it might go. All right, so you retrieve the body. You take it back up to the car. You take him back to the corporate. You inform your corporate or your Johnson, your handler, your fixer, whoever she was, Griselda, and you.
We are sorry to report that we have found your person that you sent us to find. However, they did not make it too far. We did locate them in this particular area. They were submerged, stripped, and drowned.
Griselda gives you this look like
wander off.
By the medicine check, it seems like, I mean, he was beaten up, and it depends on how you guys what you want to tell them. Griselda shoots you this look as the woman who's watching with her kind of has this strong, like, emotional reaction as soon as you tell her. You have, His Majesty's holding the body bag. And
I had some questions. I was waiting for them to come up with the body to ask.
Sure, we can retroactively do that. Sure, cut back to the car ride, back to a bit further, back to where you first met.
Further? Can we go back a little further even and resolve the hack that I did with the camera?
Absolutely. In fact, that's where we're going to end. You can pass that footage.
Yeah, I want to see if I catch footage of him jumping or if something else has happened.
Sure. You
How did he become dead?
So you catch footage of you scroll back through and it's grainy bad footage, but you do manage to piece it together, especially with 9 hits. That all count.
Enhance.
Yeah, enhance. Enhance. All right, so you get this footage of him, and he's scrambling down, and you can see this elf, very sad. You can see the tear. He's obviously distraught, just shaking and almost naked, just like tighty whities kind of thing. Kind of stumbling down the street, and stands.
He's a briefs kind of guy.
Yeah, stands for a good 10 minutes, staring at the water from the top of that cliff. And then you see him take this deep breath. And you see him, you don't necessarily have to show all of this to the person, but you see him reach down and hold up his hand, and you don't
take his ring. They would, if someone.
He was wearing a Ruthenium ring, sir.
Okay,
it
fair
was.
Enough.
You see the ring go come back, and he pulls it off. There's a callback, and pulls off the ring and holds it and says, "You can't see you can't hear what he says, but he mutters something." And just holds out his hand and drops it in the rubble somewhere at the top of the hill.
Would we have been able to?
Yeah, you would have seen that on the way back up. Okay,
you would have found
I'm gonna get you guys to do a perception check. You can do this as a
my
team.
Second question is, where's the ring? Right? Yeah.
It would be somewhere near the top. After he dropped it, you see him begin to scramble down the cliff face and march towards the lake, and then that's the end of that angle. He marches out of sight.
Oh shit, Zach!
Damn.
well, because the limit it's still 5. But yeah.
So that's 7 hits on Sharp's searching. So everyone's looking around, and you're just like, "Are you looking for this?" You're like, you see this little glint of gold. You scoop it up, and you find yourself. You find that ring of his
glint of an
to bring
sniper's scope.
So you get the ring, and you've got some footage of him, and you've got the body to return to your employer. Do you tell her the whole story? Or do you say, what do you want to tell the...
I vote for the full story, nothing but the truth, because I did what they asked.
Yeah, I do. I have the archived footage of when they were like in college between him and Mike, and piece it together with what we were told, that Mike blew him off and tried to get away from him. He was jilted. He was trying to reconnect.
Tell her what we know. Yes, everything we're jumping to is the correct conclusion, but we don't have to do that for her.
No, I would not mention the tie-in with Mike B. I would honestly just go, you wanted us to find him. This is the footage we found. This is the ring we found. Here's his body.
Happened. This person went wandering, got themselves in a bad state.
What was that, Bella?
Why wouldn't she want to know the actual reason?
He could be a victim of yet another faceless victim of the street. If you wanted to let her assume that, you could even. Or
what good does it do her?
She's distraught enough to know that, because she might have been with him instead of him with Mike, and that would F her up that much more. That he was trying to get with somebody else besides her.
It's up to you.
Okay, fair enough. I don't want to.
I
don't want to find her at the bottom of a lake. So
yeah,
I'll.
I mean, it's money in our pocket if we have to go find her. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I mean, we could spin it that way. Like, hey, this is what happened. You want to hire us again? We'll go get this Mike fella. Like.
All right. Well, the main question is, do you want her to make the one assumption or to know the whole truth? You can put it to a vote if you want.
We will. I think we should just tell her that he went down there to see a show. Unfortunately, he got jumped, and I guess that put him over the edge. He was having.
He left. Show her the footage. Say, here it is. Let her do what she wants with it. That's what I'd recommend.
So that you're voting for possible the whole truth there, Mix? Let her
well, it's like, here's what
conclusion.
happened, but there's no reason to be like, they had this argument with this other guy, right?
Yeah.
We don't really even know the full context of the story between
We never talked to him, right?
Yeah, you didn't.
We never talked to him.
If you wanted to, Bliss, you could just snip off that little bit where he takes the ring off. That would be no problem for you.
I do want to return the ring. I would recommend, like, that's something that mixes, like, I want to do this. And if everyone else is like, no, it's a ring, let's sell it, then we can have that argument.
I'm not really up for keeping a dead man's ring for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
No,
you know a pawnbroker, right?
Oh, I know a pawnbroker, but it's the reasoning behind it. Now, if I killed the guy and took the ring off of him because I didn't do the cash, that's one thing.
Yeah.
This guy took it off to commit suicide. In my character's point of view, that's something that gets returned with the body.
That's fair.
It's bad karma. I don't want to get haunted.
That's fair. Okay, so you definitely return the ring, return the body. Complete footage or incomplete footage, Bliss? And honestly, you'd probably be the only one to know.
Yeah, I'm not going to weigh in on that.
Incomplete.
Roger that. You see him walk up, and then there's a little cut for 10 minutes. Trim it out, and then he goes shambling down. Yeah.
It's just static.
Way I could edit, like, could I actually
make it look like something else comes?
Yeah, where he actually didn't throw it away, but it was almost like
it would be no problem.
So sacred, kind of thing.
You can roll a computer's check to see how good you are
You edit it
at
so
forging
it just, like,
that.
touches it and then just goes back and just like a little bit of a
Yeah, there's just a little loop
in reverse.
Yeah, so you know what? I'll let you buy those hits. And she's probably not going to necessarily know for sure, but go ahead and roll them anyway. You cut it so you don't see the ring drop. Mic drop. Get it? Get it?
Yep.
That might be the episode name.
Mic drop? Yeah, pretty good.
That's harsh. All right, it is getting very late, and I have to work soon, so we're going to have to wrap this up. I'm going to assume you kind of don't spell all it out for her, and she is... You walk away. They meet in a little restaurant later that night, and Griselda gives a nod and looks at Mix and says, "Thank you." And you guys are out back of this restaurant, delivering the body. And you can, as you guys turn to walk away, you hear the woman breaking down, her sobs, as you walk back to your vehicles, pile in, you start your big hog there, His Majesty, and hop on your big bike, the suspension barely being able to hold you. Sharps in your vehicle, just close the trunk. You lost one body bag, but you got a job done. Mix, you kind
I
of
was
just...
just about to say, you think I could have my body back? No, never mind. That's too soon.
New one.
Griselda kicks you the cash to... and Bliss, you're kind of looking back, and Dino, you start up your Segway, and...
Oh, no, that's not my Segway. That's her Segway.
Yeah.
Okay, you
I'll
go
walk.
and you
I
go
walk.
and wait for the bus to get back to close to home. And that is yet one more night in the mean streets of the Shadows.
Oh, is that Bella?
I strap the Segway to the car. So
it
that
fits inside easy breezy.
Nice. Yeah,
All right.
I want to do the bedside manner thing, right? Like, all the sound muted of the shot. You can see that I'm like consoling her in whatever way a person would.
Yep, Mix
and then
goes
you
back.
see me like walk out the place, and I like open my pan and I call my wife.
Oof. That did not go
Credits.
anywhere near where I thought it was going to tonight. Honestly, I thought you were just going to throw down. But thanks very much for watching, and thanks for playing, guys. We do need an episode title officially, and also MVP. We usually vote for MVP, so anybody have a suggestion for any of those things in chat, or any of you live? We didn't use a single battle map.
Yeah, we didn't get any fights. That's actually not bad.
That's what I'm into. MVP Jerry. I think Jerry did a great job.
You guys are too kind, eh? Like, all right. Hey, are you catching the 85 north there, Dino? You know what? I'll explore this area. Maybe I'll buy a new jacket.
Cool.
I'm gonna follow this goose and see where it leads.
All right. All right. So for completing the job, everybody gets for surviving and completing the job, everybody gets 3 karma. For general roleplay, first of all, His Majesty, there were some hilarious moments with your size and the big clubbing. Going clubbing as a Sasquatch, I think that was worth the look. Couple of other things. First of all, taking the time leading through the streets and stuff, Dino, His Majesty gets 2 karma for that. Dino, you get the 2 karma for being like the eye on the street, the practical voice, and finding it through that endpoint, and also finally summoning the spirit. I was like waiting for that. I was like, the street spirit will guide them. I was like just waiting for that. And so that's why when you said it, I was like, couldn't hurt. Bliss.
Does Dino actually have a mentor spirit? Just like curious. No,
No,
Okay.
haven't found one yet.
That's fair. Oh,
I'll leave it open for RP.
Sharps.
Cool. No, that's fine.
For showing the Yakuza, you could have owned them at any time. That was a fun moment.
Just pops up
And just being a
right here.
freaking ghost and scaring the crap out of Jerry. That was fun. Mix for roleplay and diving in and interacting with the characters and reading them.
fun.
That was fun.
That's
You get
good.
the 2 karma. So basically, everybody for your various points gets their 2 karma bump, bringing everybody up to 5 karma for a pretty straightforward run, and everybody gets their 6k. So you will have to pay your various lifestyle costs and all of that at this point, and then we'll jump ahead and do another run some other time. Any suggestions
That's
for
the second half of the 3,000 we got earlier, right?
total of 6?
Okay, cool.
We had a couple of great suggestions. Thank you, Sarah Fabriel, for jumping in. It was great to see you again. Thanks, Hexadecker, and everybody else who tunes in either live or after the fact. We are SideQuest Live, and we do this every week or every couple weeks for Shadowrun. And thanks, everybody. And do we have a title for an episode name suggestion?
Clubbin with Sasquatch. I like that one.
So, what was that?
Clubbin
with Sasquatch, but mistyped. I love it. All right, so we'll take that. Thank you, Sarah Fabriel. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Take care of yourselves. Check in with a loved one, and don't let old loves get you down. Everybody's got them. Got eyes forward. Find the joy. Oh boy. Take care, everybody. Cheers.
Good night.
As I look for my break.
Wow, 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 wow.
So,
You've been listening to SideQuest Live. Thanks so much for tuning in. We try to record all of our games as much as possible, whether that's Dungeons & Dragons or Shadowrun or another tabletop role-playing game. Just a quick side note about all the licenses and copyrights involved. Our music is all Creative Commons attribution music on our live stream video feed or YouTube replay or Twitch VOD. We always attribute each individual artist, so be sure to check out those individual artist attributions. Lots of love to so many people who make their work available so that we can do what we do. So thank you. It influences our game. It makes it immeasurably better. So much appreciation for them. Let's not forget the makers of the game. Dungeons & Dragons is copywritten by Wizards of the Coast. They own it. They make it available to all of us to play, and it's wonderful. We are in no way affiliated with them, and nor do they endorse this podcast, but we are very appreciative. The other game we often play is Shadowrun, which is Catalyst Games. And again, we are not affiliated with them and they do not endorse us, but we really appreciate their game and we hope you appreciate our game. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Twitch and YouTube and watch for those live games once we're streaming them out. And of course, we do accept suggestions for names, so please hit us up on Instagram and name our stuff. All right, thanks so much. I'm Todd, and this has been SideQuest Live. We'll see you again soon.